Amen. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of DS Walk's Double Dribble Podcast. I'm your host, DS Walk. Now, usually you see me do this by myself. Usually, by 99% of the time, you see me do this by myself. But today, I was blessed with two special guests. The second special guest will come on at 6:15 a little later on. He is doing some work right now, but he will join us. Joining me today, the man who I do the Signatures and Finisher podcast with every Tuesday, Friday, or Saturday. The man who called himself the Godfather of Detroit sports.
I have never once referred to myself as that.
The man calls himself the conscience of the conscience. The man who hates more ignorance than common sense.
Yes, that is fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you my Signatures and Finishers podcast host, brother, friend, tag team partner, Jamie.
Hello. Hello.
First thing, man, it's good to be back on the show. Sorry I had to take some time off. Outside of the show, it was a little crazy, but it wasn't as wild as the NBA offseason. So I am back. You're going to be getting some episodes this week from me. I got to catch up on lost times. And shout out to everybody who's going to be watching Summer League tomorrow, because it's going to be a long day for all of us who are going to be watching it and covering it. But we know Jamie ain't finna cover and watch it.
No. I mean, I'll check out some of the games, but
Now, usually I'll start the show off. But this is a little different now. This is a little different for today, because we're going to let Jamie start the show, because Jamie hit me up, I want to say about 3 or 4 days ago. He wanted to talk about some things that's going on with the Pistons, going on in the NBA. I asked him to come up with the bullet points, come up with some arguments. He did all that. I had to have a monitor, not monitor. I'm sorry, y'all.
Please.
I would never monitor Jamie at all. But what I did ask him is to fix those arguments, because we wanted to.
He wanted me to be really nice.
Sounds good everywhere.
No, you just wanted me to be nice to Jalen Duren.
No. We ain't asked for nice. We asked for fairness. We asked for fairness. On everything on this show, it's about being fair and bringing all the facts and stats. So before we get to all the craziness in the trade, let's hit this restricted free agency, and let's start with Jalen Duren. Jamie's all yours.
Okay, so if I told you that Jalen Duren was in company with Wilt Chamberlain and Elgin Baylor, you think that that's probably pretty good, right? Just overall, if I said he's in a group that only has Elgin and Wilt, you'd be like, oh, it's probably something pretty good.
Yes.
Biggest point differential when you're in your all-star season of dropping points. He averaged 9.3 points per game less in the playoffs than he did in the regular season.
So he averaged 10 points in the postseason.
Yeah.
And
10 points. It's actually 10.5.
Yeah.
But
now, if I remember correctly, Wilt Chamberlain dropped to like 28 points per game.
No, Wilt dropped to 35, but the difference is, so the reason I put Elgin in there, that drop for Wilt wasn't in an all-star season. That was just a regular season. For Elgin, it was in the same season, just like Jalen Duren, that they went to the all-star game. Hasn't been since 1969. It's the biggest drop since Elgin Baylor.
And what was his numbers?
They don't have Elgin's on there. But for Wilt went from 54 points, which just absurd, to 35. I would take Wilt's numbers all day long. When you have Jalen Duren, didn't even average 10 rebounds. If you look at his stats in the playoffs, it looks like he was scared to play. You didn't average double-digit points. Okay, I can understand that. But as a big, as the center, you didn't even get 10 rebounds on average? When you average that during the regular season? And honestly, if you just kind of look at it, we all know what happened with Malik Beasley. You go back and you watch those Milwaukee games, you can make a case Jalen Duren might have been doing the same thing.
See? Here you go.
I mean, I'm just saying, your field goal percentage dropped by 15%. You went from 65 to under 50. For 2 rounds of the playoffs. You didn't even show up to play.
So are you giving credit to the other team's defensive scheme?
You can give credit to Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, sure. But he had problems. He had more problems with Orlando than he even did with Cleveland.
That's what I said.
And yes, you could give credit to the defense all day. But at the same time, this is supposed to be an all-star. This is an all-NBA player. Shouldn't he be able to rise to the occasion? People say, oh, he's only 22. He's in his 4th year. So how much more time do you want to give him? And this guy wants to be a max player? He's going to be lucky if he's getting 180 million. That, and there's nowhere for him to go at this point. Nobody's got any money for him besides the Pistons.
Well, I don't think he had nowhere to go because he wasn't going to go anywhere. Because when they put that statement out that they're going to max any.
Yeah, they're going to match it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Jalen Duren came in the league at 18 years old. He been with the Pistons for 4 seasons. He developed under their system. He became a much better player every year. Every year from his rookie year to now. Jalen Duren he wasn't a very good ball handler. He became a good ball handler this season. He shot the jump shots a little better this season prior to other seasons because he struggled. Here's the thing about with Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren played less than he was. You are correct. He played less than he was in the postseason. Whether it was nervousness, whether that the defense played good defense, they took away the things he loves to do. Jalen Duren is not a floor spacer. I could go on and say, yeah, Jalen Duren did all this wrong, did all this wrong, did all this wrong. And he did. The thing we have to look at is that we had 2 different types of seasons from Jalen Duren. Mm-hmm. We had the first season where he was an all-star. He put up with good numbers. He went out here and he proved to the Pistons that he is worthy of a max contract. Give or take, whether it's 35 million or 58 million. He proved that he was a max player. He proved that from day one to now that he's a much better player. He has developed under the Detroit Pistons system. He has developed with Cade Cunningham a relationship where Cade Cunningham trusts him. Jalen Duren, with those 12 games, 12 to 18 games Cunningham missed toward the end of the season? Mm-hmm. He basically took over the scoring, took over everything that this team needed. Jalen Duren was put in a position where he had to be the number 2 option on this team because the front office did a terrible job of going out and getting a number 2 scorer, a number 2 option on this team, where if we would have that and move Duren to our number 3 option, will we have a different argument by Jalen Duren? Jalen Duren went out and proved what type of player he was.
When the lights aren't the brightest, yes. When the lights are the brightest, he disappears.
He did.
And the worst part about it, benches get shorter in the playoffs. He played 3 minutes more per game, almost down to the second, 3 minutes more per game, and produced 50% of the results of what he normally does with less time.
Yes, he did. And the thing that I think a lot of us are bothered by this whole situation is that we seen how Jalen played when K was out and he created shots for himself, opportunity for his teammates. He didn't do that in the postseason. In the postseason, they took away what the Pistons love to do. Mainly, they took away what Jalen does love to do. He likes to get set up underneath that basket and get offensive rebounds. He likes to get basket close to the rim, and he likes Kay Cunningham at least throwing about 4 or 5 alley hoops.
And that's the other problem.
He didn't get none of that.
Your field goal percentage dropped 15%.
Yes. But the one thing I do believe that a lot of Piston fans, including yourself, is more upset about, it's not about the contract. It's not about the way he played in the postseason. Is that he didn't show you that hustle. He didn't show you that I want. He didn't show everyone that, hey, I'm struggling, but I'm going to do the other things to help my team win. I think that's what everybody's mad about.
Well, it is. It very much looks like, oh, well, I got through the regular season. I'm going to get my max contract, so nothing really matters at this point is what it looks like when you're watching him play in the playoffs.
Yeah, it did look like that.
It's just like, when in the NFL, when they're in the contract year, they're putting up Pro Bowl numbers, and then they sign the contract and they have the worst year of their career or one of the worst years of their career. Oh, I got the money, so it doesn't matter now. And that's very much what this looked like. Now, is there fault on Trajan Langdon? Yes. Why didn't you go get Trey Murphy during the regular season before the deadline? They tried to get Austin Reeves. That's why Austin Reeves got maxed out by the Lakers for $185 million. Because the Pistons offered.
Is Austin Reeves a max player?
No.
So why did the Lakers overpay for Austin Reeves?
Because they value him that much. It's, again, there's certain times in sports with certain teams. I'll go back. The 06 Tigers are a great example. They overpaid, or not the 06, I think it was the 04 Tigers, overpaid for Baglio Ordonez. Well, was he that spark that they needed? Absolutely. And then, you put Pudge, you got Maglio, you put some of those pieces. Yeah, they overpaid for some of them, but then look at the run they had. They had like 10 years where they played ultra competitive baseball, 2 World Series appearances. It was worth it. Austin Reeves might do that unless you're a Stephen A. Smith fan and you think that they're just dead in the water. But, there's that. Jalen Duren, you're a big. Even if your points went down, if your rebounds went up, nobody would complain. But everything fell apart for him. It wasn't just, his scoring was down. The rebounds were down, the assists were down, everything was down. And your minutes went up. That's the glaring part.
His minutes, well, hear me out on this one. And first of all, let's also keep it real. He's not a good defensive player.
No.
His defense improved in certain situations where he did protect the rim, but he's not a good defensive player. And this is not a show we're bashing Jalen Duren. I'm a Jalen Duren fan. I want Jalen Duren to get the money he deserves, the money that he worked for. Here's the thing about this whole situation is that I believe that the Pistons don't value him as much as the Lakers value Austin Reeves. Because we see, and Pistons fans as well. The reason why I say that, because you said in your argument, Trajan Langdon did not go out here and get a number 2. And because of that de facto made Jalen Duren the number 2 option on this team. In which we knew that, hey, this guy's big. He doesn't shoot 15, 17, 18-foot jump shots. He doesn't stretch out the floor. He's not a top 5, top 10 defensive player. He can't create shots for others at this point in moment in the postseason. He couldn't do it. His minutes are up, but his play is down. He got outplayed by Paul Reed in this postseason. Is that and that's from a fan standpoint, from my standpoint, now that's kind of pretty bad when you got outplayed by the number 3 center and the number 3 power forward on your team. However, he is 22 years old. We seen that Jalen Duren is growing. We see that he is improving. Now, is he a $40 million player? In my opinion, yes, he is. Because if Austin Reed's a $40 million player, I would think that Jalen Duren is a $40 million player. Now, they play two different positions, but both guys will give you the same type of outcome, the same type of stat sometimes. The thing is with the Pistons is that when I say they don't value him, they only value him at a certain price. If I'm the Pistons, I'll pay him $40 million. Because what's this gonna happen? For one, they owe. I'm not gonna say they owe him, but they owe now young man a big contract because he went out here and prove to them that y'all made a mistake in not paying me my money last season. And everybody forget about that. We won't be in this kind of having this conversation right now, in this situation right now, if the Pistons would have took care of him and paid him $30 million last year.
Yeah, but he wanted to bet on himself.
No.
And it paid off.
Yeah.
In the regular season, until when it mattered.
Yeah. Now that's on the Pistons. They could have offered him a contract. They decided to lowball him. And this is the second year in a row where you lowball this young man. And I get it. You don't think he is a 35, you don't think he's a $40 million ball player, but don't lowball him. Don't disrespect this player and expect him to come back into this locker room and smile in your face and thinking nothing ain't all is well, all is good because now I finally got my money. What the Pistons need to do, like I said, pay this man $40 million. Because you know why? Because once you give him this 5-year deal, and I'm calling it right now, he's not coming back because he's not going to forget. He's not going to forget the things that they put him through when he went out and bet on himself.
But we don't know what was offered, what wasn't offered. But let's look at the Jaylen Brown trade. If the Pistons don't value Jalen Duren, do you really think Trajan Langdon probably at least put a call in to say, hey, we got this guy, you want him? I would have to think that there's at least a phone call that was made, at minimum an email sent. What do you think about getting Jalen Duren?
If it's for Jaylen Brown, absolutely, I'll make that phone call. But when I mean Boston was not willing to take. I think Boston was so headstrong on just wanting Mitchell Robinson. They probably didn't even care about Jalen Duren.
It's such a bad trade. It just, in what world would you want to take Paul George over Jalen Duren? Paul George probably won't even play 30 games next season.
All right, so now we're going to get right into the nitty-gritty because if y'all don't know, Jamie is a Boston Celtics fan. Him and Bill Simmons are over there licking their wounds. They're having funerals. They're having wakes and stuff because of the mess that is the Boston Celtics. Talking about you don't value your best player. I mean, Boston don't value Jaylen Brown. I mean, think about it. This man, he been there for 10 years. He is the best two-way player in the NBA. If anybody says anything less, get out. Turn in your basketball turn in your basketball card in because he is better than Kawhi Leonard.
100%.
He's the best two-way player in basketball. How many All-Stars he made?
Gosh. 8?
Jaylen Brown's an All-Star player.
It might be
one of the top 3 best defensive players in basketball. And I'm sitting here, I'm telling you, it's a crime that this young man didn't win Defensive Player of the Year. He's a Eastern Conference Final MVP. He is an NBA Finals MVP. He is the NBA World Champion. He was robbed, and I repeat, he was robbed of being on the United States basketball team.
Yes.
Jaylen Brown was. For 3 years in a row, including this year, has been in nothing but in trade talks. Boston been trying to get rid of Jaylen Brown. If you want to keep it honest and real, they've been trying to get rid of Jaylen Brown until they drafted Jason Tatum.
Which you have to
We
understand, I'm going
always
to say
hear.
this with an asterisk.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't why I'm a Boston Celtics fan, but the Celtics have a black person quota on their team. When there's too many of them, they have to start shipping them off. So, that is not why I'm a Celtics fan. But why would you willingly want to trade Jaylen Brown? If I'm the Celtics, I'd be willing to trade Jason Tatum 9 out of 10 times before I would trade Jaylen Brown. You would have to give me something so crazy to get rid of Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum, give me a couple picks. A couple picks over a couple years. I'll give you Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown, no. You're giving me a top 5 player in the NBA plus picks to get Jaylen Brown. And you got Paul George. Paul George, Indiana, I'd be like, okay, you got something. Paul George hasn't played it at Indiana level since he left Indiana. He was a shell of himself. OKC wasn't Indiana numbers. He was good in OKC, but he wasn't Indiana good. And Clippers numbers, he'd have a flash here and there. Paul George in the Clippers is like when Sean Kemp went to the Cavaliers. He'd have flashes, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's Paul George, or that's Sean Kemp." And then he'd go right back to, "Well, yep, now he's hurt. Now he's not playing. Oh, he missed a layup. Oh, another brick." Like, why would you make this trade? Do you hate Jaylen Brown that much? Like, it doesn't make sense on paper, or even to talk about.
So, do you believe that they made this trade under distress from ownership, or they just made this trade based off their analytic numbers?
I mean, I'm not part of that conversation. It could be a little bit of both. I think the NBA is way too analytics heavy at this point.
I'm glad you said that, though, before you go your next thought. I'm glad you said that. Because guess who else said that?
Everybody.
No. Guess who else said that? Jaylen Brown.
That's fair.
And guess who else said that? Bobby Marks.
Yeah.
So before you finish your thought on that one, I've got one more question for you. So you just said the NBA is analytics too heavy. If you're an NBA fan, are you be concerned about that? Because now teams are looking at the numbers and instead of watching the eye test. For example, what did we hear? Someone said, if you look at the numbers, Jaylen Brown is not a top 10 player in the NBA. He's not a top six player in the NBA, according to the analytics.
Yeah, 100%. Like that. I don't know if have you seen 82-0 yet?
You sent it to me.
Yeah. So I messed around with it a couple times. I've got to 78-4 is the best I've done with.
Uh-huh.
And if you look at that team compared to a couple of the other teams that I posted, the 78-4 team is pretty garbage compared to some of my other teams.
Right.
But all they look at is the numbers. Basically, if you take the players with the highest points per game, you're just guaranteed to win. They don't look at any of that, and that's all analytics does. Here's the raw numbers. We don't tell you what they did. You know who would grade out terribly in analytics? Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman would probably statistically be one of the worst players in the history of the NBA if you just went by analytics. Because it's all the little things that you do during a game.
Yeah,
it's not just getting rebounds. It's the drive. How many jump balls? How many times did you crash out of bounds, saving the ball from going out of bounds? It's things like that. And that's the stuff that Jaylen Brown does. Jason Tatum doesn't do that stuff. Jaylen Brown does that stuff.
You know what else will look back on analytics? And he's a Hall of Famer. Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't do those things. Mm-hmm. He only shoots high percentage shots close to the basket. He's an average, above average, good defensive player. And I don't want to say he passes the ball pretty good, but the eye test says that we already know he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest players. But analytic wise, I think it would be him, Sean Kemp. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. It is my show. Patrick Ewing.
Oh yeah, Patrick Ewing would grade out terribly in analytics.
They won't grade out to analytics. But the thing I have a problem with Boston, the Boston thing is that Brad Stevenson is quote unquote known as a genius. He's a numbers guy.
That's drastically overblown too.
And you hear the Celtics fans, I don't know about where you come from, new ownership, but I don't think this came from a new owner because the NBA also has another problem. They are heavily involved in what you call that equity. They let all these equity companies
Oh
get
yeah.
some percentages of the teams and their numbers, kind of like analytic numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're giving up equity shares to try and raise value and raise money. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's that quick money. That's that
Mm-hmm.
quick upfront quick money where it's good now but it's bad for later.
Yeah, it's a surge of capital. That's all it's going to do. And then you're giving up long-term money to the equity holders.
I don't understand why they're doing that. It makes no sense.
I'll give you a hint. Part of it starts with a W.
Really.
What's dragging down the NBA's money the most? The WNBA.
Yeah,
They
but
subsidize that entire league. So that cuts into their profits completely because they subsidize that whole thing.
you talking about so basically saying that cuts into the owners who own well, let me phrase that because the worst kept secret, the NBA does own the WNBA. Don't when they had their contract, their CBA negotiation, they weren't negotiating with the current commissioner of the WNBA. They were involved with this. Their CBA involving Adam Silver and NBA owners.
Yep.
So basically, you're saying because the WNBA is not making money,
100%.
they're pulling the viewership, they're pulling it everywhere else, but they're not making long-term money.
Certain players are making healthy amounts of money now. Caitlin Clark, Paige Buchers, Sophie is going to be getting endorsement deals like crazy.
Asia
But
Wilson.
Asia Wilson, they're going to be perfectly fine. But the league as a whole still loses money. Like they are a net operating loss. That's why when you hear the players, well, we want our portion of the revenue. I don't think you understand what you're talking about because then you would actually owe the NBA money. Like if you took a portion of the revenue, there is no revenue. You owe the NBA money. They subsidize all that. So you actually have a much better deal than revenue sharing. The NBA makes money. That's why they can do revenue sharing and taking part of the revenue and things like that. WNBA has no revenue.
But the NBA make money now. But was it during David Stern early tenure in the NBA that they was not making no money?
Right.
It took him what 15, 20 years to turn a positive profit over a positive profit in the NBA. So that's kind of the same thing.
But that was also part of having to pay off the old ABA owners that didn't get to be absorbed into the NBA, things like that. There was a lot of that. One of the owners, I think, just got his last payout 2 years ago. I think they finally finished paying him off. He was getting like $4.3 million a year ever since the buyout of the ABA. So that's part of where that comes from. The WNBA didn't have that issue because it was a league they started like as a whole. There was no merger or anything like that. I think in the next couple of years, the WNBA will start turning a profit. Then you can have different conversations. But right now, I think getting that back to the equity share, I think that's where a lot of it comes from is the fact that the WNBA is just losing money every year. So even with the height of Caitlin Clark.
So why is the NBA expanding the WNBA and why they're expanding their league by 2 teams?
I mean, long-term growth, just like perfect example is right now, men's soccer. Soccer in America has always been looked at as a joke for the most part. But you've had professional soccer. And for the diehards, they would go see professional soccer. I've been to a Detroit FC game here. They're great. It's not part of, MLS or anything, but they're great. Now that, just like when women's soccer took off with Mia Hamm and all of them when they won the gold, Not saying the men are going to win the gold. They're probably going to get knocked out tonight, honestly. But we're getting a surge in people paying attention to soccer. So long-term goal, we still have these professional leagues. Now you're going to see the MLS here in America start getting more viewers. We're going to start getting some of those overseas players coming here. We already had it with Beckham and Lionel Messi and some of those guys. We're going to get more, which is going to draw more eyes, which grows the sport. Same with WNBA. We know this is going to be a loss. It's probably been a loss a lot longer than they wanted because they just came up on 30 years. But as you see, they wouldn't be growing it out 2 more teams if they weren't willing to take that loss.
Well,
They didn't see that it's willing to grow.
Well, the NBA is growing out 2 more teams.
Oh,
The
yeah,
WNBA could roll out 4 more
yeah.
teams.
Yeah,
I think
I had
it's
it
up to
backwards.
like 4 more teams. Yeah, I think it's Detroit coming back, Cleveland.
Yeah, Detroit's coming back. But again, how bad was that? Detroit Shock won 3 championships in 6 years. The year they won a championship is the same year they moved the team. All the way back in, what was that, 2008, 2009.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had a team since then for the WNBA.
Yeah, one of the most successful teams in the league.
Yeah, you had Swing Cash. You had some really good players on those Shock teams.
Oh, yeah.
Coached by Bill Laimbeer. But maybe this is the time. People are starting to pay attention. Like her or hater, Caitlin Clark did immeasurable amounts of good for the WNBA. It's not a white thing. It's not a black thing. 71% of the jerseys sold in the WNBA are Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark.
So you're on the same side as, and it is on the only time I would say this, is on the same side you're on Stephen A. Smith when it comes to, hey, protect your money, Caitlin Clark, because she's one of the few players other than Asia Wilson that's going to grow this league to the next level where it needs to get.
Asia Wilson is the only person you could say is better than Caitlin Clark. That's it. If you were to do your top 2 in the WNBA, it's Asia Wilson, Caitlin Clark. Number 3, you can go a lot of different ways, but when it comes to making money, Ocho, I saw, Caitlin Clark's already done everything she's going to do for the WNBA. She needs to leave. She's more of a distraction now. Like, how are you paid for your opinion? Like, that is one of the dumbest things. Her and Sophie Cunningham, again, make up 71% of the jersey sales for the WNBA. Just those 2 alone. And she still sells out tickets everywhere she goes. Once Indiana makes a deep playoff run, you'll see that they can actually sell out the arena. There's a reason that when Caitlin debuted, they had to upgrade arenas that they were playing in. People want to see her play. Oh, yeah, if Angel Reese was as good as Caitlin Clark, people would want to see Angel Reese play. But everybody knows what a rebound looks like. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Is if the players are good, and that's always been the knock, is women's basketball isn't as good as men's basketball. I'm still of the opinion if the WNBA lowered the rim a foot, you would get a lot more interest in people watching the WNBA. People want to see dunks. They want to see things like that. And the women are just naturally shorter. I don't think it's a problem to lower the rim down a foot. I think it would make the game far more competitive. I remember when Lisa Leslie dunked in the WNBA for the first time, and it was the softest, most generic dunk of all time, but she did it. And it was something she wasn't going to be able to replicate in an in-game situation unless the scenario was set up perfectly where she was able to jump straight up vertically with both hands, undistracted, and that's it. People want to see dunks.
Did she do that on the breakaway?
I think so, but I don't remember.
Contrary to popular opinion, I like Angel Reese, not for the flashiness and what everybody thinks, because I mean, look, y'all criticize her, she monetized it. That's not why I like her, even though she is an opportunist. I like Angel Reese because Angel Reese is like Caitlin Clark, and I don't think a lot of people don't get a lot of credit for her. She's a team player. She don't care about her stats. She don't care about she don't make the All-Star team. She cares about long as her teammates make the All-Star team. For example, 2 of the top players on Atlanta Dream, Angel Reese is not one of them. They didn't make the All-Star team. And that's all she cared about. I like that. And she was like that in Chicago Sky. She's not afraid to come out and say, hey, look, this something is wrong here. If it's not the players, if it's not the front office, now I think the coaching is bad. She's not afraid to speak her mind, and she's not afraid to tell the truth about what's going on. I think a lot of times she gets a bad rep, and I think everybody had this thing of her and Caitlin Clark's a rival. Well, they are, but the one thing we keep forgetting as sports fans is that they've been competing against each other since they were teenagers. So there's some type of relationship there. They cool with each other, right? They might not be the best of friends, but they get along just fine. They're competitors.
People have an issue with Angel Reese because she talks a lot, but she doesn't back it up.
That's fine.
Like, I'm the best in the WNBA, and then you go up and you put up like 4 points, and talking about her first game back in Chicago when I think she scored 6 points, saying that she was going to run the score up on them and everything else. Scored like 6 points. Like, that's the issue that people have with Angel Reese. If Angel Reese didn't talk and average, 15 rebounds a game of her own shots, nobody would care.
Man, I don't care if she talks. Look, I used to work at the Palace. I hear these guys talk all the time. I hear these guys, the in-game talking is trash. I'm like, and myself, like, yeah, okay. So you think that you gonna score on Ben that easy? Okay, gotcha.
Talk about another person that analytics would grade up terribly, Ben Wallace.
Yeah. But let's get back to the Jaylen Brown situation. Jaylen Brown, because that's been huge. Number one, Jaylen Brown didn't ask for a trade. Number two, Jaylen Brown didn't ask for a contract extension yet, even though Boston can't offer him a 2-year extension. He didn't ask for it. Jaylen Brown didn't want to leave Boston at all. This was the Boston Celtics making a move that they didn't have to make yet.
Well, and that's why when you ask me, was it ownership driven or analytics? I can't answer that because I don't know. It could be both. It could be ownership driven. Analytics wise, the argument's not strong enough. The intangibles that guy has done to make him one of the absolute best players in the league, period.
Now, Brad Stevenson did mention something while we were talking here, and this ain't gonna make you feel no better. You're gonna still feel the same way.
I mean, I don't feel good when he talks to begin with, so I'll deal.
They asked him, did Jason Tatum have any say in this trade or anything? He said no. There you go. It was if you add because man, it just don't feel right. It has to be another move. If you're trading Jaylen Brown to the Philadelphia 76ers, which I do have a problem with because you traded to your rival, a team that you're gonna battle 4 times in the regular season, and potentially depends on if Boston make another move or not. If they're good, you might see them in the playoffs. You do not, Jamie. Me and you come from the same cloth where when we say you do not make your rival stronger. The Detroit Pistons and the Chicago Bulls would never make a trade. The Lakers and Celtics would never make a trade.
Do you know how mad I get every time I hear of a Lions player leaving to go to the Bears because Ben Johnson's over there? Like, if they want to leave and go anywhere, it wouldn't bother me at all. But you're going to the Bears, which is in conference, in division. Like, it drives me nuts. And yes, you're letting one of the best players in the league go basically right down the street. Let's be honest. New York to Philly is like right down the street, essentially. You're going to end up seeing these guys in the playoffs, and you made Philadelphia there's not many players that you could trade a player for a player and say you're getting a better deal by giving up Jaylen Brown. And you made the 76ers that much better, and you got significantly worse. You didn't upgrade at all. Now, in 2 or 3 years, when you cash in some of those picks, maybe. But again, what league has a higher first-round bust than the NBA?
NBA.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Even the NFL grades out better.
Yeah. And I'm gonna continue with Boston. So word on the street is that they will talk to the Pelicans about getting Trey Murphy because now they got the draft capital to get Trey Murphy. But my thing is though, you still want to keep Paul George even when you get Trey Murphy. It's like you might as well put Paul George because he just picked up his 3.9 traded session. So you might as well use that, trade him to New Orleans, and you're gonna have to take a bad contract back. So you either, if I'm the Celtics, I'm either gonna take back, just don't lose your marbles. You either have to take back Jordan Poole or you taking Herb Jones. That's my personal opinion because you're not. I mean, if you look at money wise, money for money, Trey Murphy, and if you include Paul George, that's not adding up there. It's not adding
up.
If
Trey Murphy doesn't wind up in Detroit, I'm going to throw something through the window.
What happens if he goes to Boston?
I'm still going to throw something through the window.
I'm just saying,
if Trey Murphy winds up in Boston and Kevin Durant winds up in Detroit, I'm throwing something through the window.
I would have no objection if Kevin Durant winds up in Detroit. The only problem I would have with it would be if Trae and Langdon don't make this happen.
He has to make something happen at this point.
Yeah, either guy I'm cool with. If we talk about long term, give me Trey Murphy.
I will accept Kevin Durant just because it'll make Cade that much better. Because now you're actually going to have to pay attention to somebody on the floor. That's the problem. Everybody knew to only pay attention to Cade. Having KD out there, somebody at least has to be dedicated to him, which will make Cade that much better. Trey Murphy is a much better solution, short term and long term.
See, that's why I said it goes when it comes to the Jalen Duren conversation. Everything goes back to Trae and Langdon because when I had told you this, and I'm quite sure you don't remember what I told you because I heard this through the Pistons, through Locked On Sports. Shout out to Coop. Was that the Pistons wanted to develop Asar Thompson this past season? The front office wasn't trying to or wanted to be the number one seed or win 60 games. That wasn't their goal. But because they got off to a good start, and because what I keep telling you, Jamie, Cade Cunningham is not interested in development of teammates. He's not. He wants to win. Yeah. He loves his teammates. Asar Thompson one of his guys. Jared Duren is one of his guys. But he wants to win. Bernie JB Biggerstaff, I'm about to call him Bernie Biggerstaff. He wants to win. When they got close to winning 60 games, that number one seed, that's when Trajan Langdon at the All-Star break should have put his chips in and got a Trey Murphy. Or if he would have known that Tyler Hero was available, or to a certain degree, he should have checked in on JB. I mean, if Boston got rid of JB this for this, he should have checked in on JB. But what I'm saying is because he did not get a number two option, because he did not get a flat out score, and the only move you made was Kevin Huerter, in which he was hurt when he got here. He didn't do nothing in the postseason. The only time we see the life of Kevin Huerter was towards the end of the season when he was getting minutes, standing around the bench.
Yep.
Because you didn't do that, you put this young man and this young team in a situation where, yes, they got by Orlando because Orlando choked. Mm-hmm. You would have got by Cleveland if you had a number two scorer. And Cleveland basically told everybody what their game plan was. If you see Asar Thompson on this side of the floor, we ain't going over there. If he's on this side of the floor, we ain't going over there. But if you see Tobias Harris over there, That's where we're going. If we see Jalen Duren down the middle, that's where we're going. They telegraphed, they told us what they were going to do. But the lack of moves during the trading deadline is what doomed the Pistons. That's why they get past the second round. I don't want to hear anything about JB. He waited too late to play Marcus Sasser, and he didn't play Shaz Lanier, and Kevin Huerter didn't do nothing. That's not JB Bickerstaff's fault. Guys on the bench got to show JB that they can come in and get the job done. He got to. This man needs confidence in his bench players.
Well, it's
playoff
basketball.
He didn't play a lot of minutes. It's the reason why he didn't play at all. That's why when you see him with those 2 or 3 games against Cleveland, yeah, he had some shots. What happened in Game 7?
Mm-hmm.
Tobias Harris, yeah, he played his ass off. But what happened? What happened from 5, 6, and 7? What happened? Worst kept secret. We talking about how bad Jalen Duren looked bad, not this postseason, last postseason. Where was Stu? Where was Javonte Green?
Mm-hmm.
Where were the guys who helped contribute to the 60 and 22 win season? How they looked in the Cleveland series? But we always look at Jalen Duren. Cade Cunningham wasn't even healthy. Just imagine a healthy Cade Cunningham, and maybe Jalen Duren might would have gave you 12 points per game. It would have beat Cleveland. Or come close to it, and one got blown out.
Well, I mean, you could also go back to imagine if Jaden Ivey was still here, just to have a little bit of shooting from him.
I think they did Jaden Ivey dirty, but Jaden Ivey didn't help the situation either.
There's a lot of him not helping his own situation.
I mean, you can't sit around and be mad at the team for not starting you right away. My man, you went out for the second time to have your knee scoped out, have knee surgery. What do you want them to do?
Yeah.
And as quiet as kept, they didn't view Jaden Ivey as a core piece. They didn't.
No, and he wasn't.
You knew they didn't.
Well, for what you traded for, you were better keeping him.
Yes.
And maybe you squeak past Cleveland.
Danis Jenkins, the way he played, is what we expect Jaden Ivey to play, but at a higher level.
Yes.
So if everybody just bear with me.
Dennis Jenkins will win a 6th Man of the Year within the next couple of years. I guarantee it.
I don't think he's gonna be in the league this coming season.
He will be.
Bear with me here, ladies and gentlemen, because I know this is. I said no. I don't want no hot takes, but this is a hot one. That's why I felt when they traded Stu, I was hoping they bring John Morant back in the trade because he plays like Jaden Ivey. This is another guy, even though he had a bad season, he's been injury prone. But injury prone bad season alone, this man will get you 17, 18 points per game. He be the second ball handler, the second creator on this team that we desperately needed it. Now, does he has a history of making bad decisions off the court? Yes, he does. But guess what? You know else who did? That won championships on this team with us? Let me go down the list for you. John Sally, Dennis Rodman.
Rodman was perfectly fine here. He didn't start losing his stuff until a few years later.
Yeah, but nobody ain't really gonna tell you behind closed doors. I mean, nobody gonna tell you in public, hey, this is what Dennis be doing. William Bedford, my next door neighbor who stayed kind of like 7 streets down away from where I stayed. The man did coke. If you want to know the most famous guy on our team who was controversy on and off the court and won the championship with us, Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why nobody like, hey, no, we don't need John Morant. Please. I will take John Morant as he is right now on this Pistons team. than say have Dana Jenkins up as our backup point guard. At least Ja would be our starting guard, point guard, shooting guard, whatever you want to call it. I will give this criticism before we get to the Philly side trade. If there's one criticism that I have of JB Bickerstaff, is the way he coached his team in the second round. I don't think he choked. I actually believe that he worked with the hand that he was given by the front office. But that doesn't mean that you had to play Jalen Duren more minutes. You didn't have to. When the Cavs attacked your two worst defenders, Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren, you should have done the same thing with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. And if we want to go really, really with Jamie, you could have attacked their bigs too, but they was struggling there for a while. Mm-hmm. If there's one thing I can say, I'm disappointed about JB Bickerstaff that he didn't attack Donovan Mitchell or James Harden because they are their two worst defenders. If you want to say Max Strauss and Dean Wade, you want to throw them boys in, you can. If you're going to sit here and tell me that Dana Jenkins, Cade Cunningham, Javonte Green, and if all these boys can't take Donovan Mitchell or James Harden to the hole and get easy baskets on them, then what are we talking about?
Yep.
Now let's get to the Philly side of the trade. And I seen this online too. With the addition of Jaylen Brown, Joe and Embiid don't have to play 65 games.
No, you've got Maxey, Brown, and Embiid just right there alone. So Embiid can do his load management, and you still have a 1 and 2 there.
Not only that, they also drafted a point guard, LeBron Philbin, who was pretty damn good, and they signed Anthony Simons.
Yep.
So Joe Embiid can play, do his load management, won't have to play back-to-back games. They really can you honestly sit here and I can honestly sit here and say that Joe Embiid might be the only player in the NBA this season who will not be needed in the regular season. And Philly 100%. Will still be a top 3 seed.
I wouldn't be surprised if they use Embiid as a number 3 option during the regular season.
Well, I think he will be. They would have
that's what I'm saying. Is like I wouldn't be surprised if they design everything that he's the 3rd option. Brown's 1, Maxey's 2, and then you've got Embiid there. That's it.
If I'm Tyrese Maxey, I'm giving a high fives to everybody in the front office. Like, hey, good job, good job, good job. I might even see Brad Stevenson a Rolex watch.
I mean, when you look at the trade on paper, it's almost like the 76ers just gave them a bunch of money behind the scenes to say, hey, cough this guy up. Like, the trade doesn't make any sense. Like, the Celtics didn't win it all in this trade. The 76ers won everything. 76ers basically have to be the favorite out of the East right now before a game's even played.
They will be. And this is where I also said that the New York Knicks won the offseason. And I say that in the fact that they are drastically making teams change their roster like right now. And it is so sad. I mean, and if you look at it, the Boston Celtics had to change their roster. The Philadelphia 76ers changed their roster, but they changed it better for the best. The Cleveland Cavaliers eventually is going to change their roster. Every team in the East is going to has gotten better, but had to get on the same, almost close to the same level as New York Knicks. Now, unless you're,
I think the Knicks have fallen down because you've got Miami, you've got Philly, Indiana's going to be a whole lot better once Halliburton's back officially.
That's the team that everybody's forgetting about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling everybody.
Indiana's going to be a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, as a Piston fan, I love my Pistons. They're not winning the Central.
No, Pistons are going to be garbage. Like compared to the other teams in the East, the Pistons are going to maybe be a 7 or an 8 seed.
No, I wasn't going that far.
I am.
I think
look at how much better all the other teams got compared to them.
Well, it depends on how we're looking at this because I don't think Miami can get any better because they got nobody around Giannis and Bam. They don't have no money to spend. That's why when everybody like Miami gonna do this and no, it's gonna take Miami a full season to get right.
Yeah, but you got two bigs that is drastically overblown as Bam's game was. The dude can shoot a short range shot. All you got to do is dump the ball into one of the two of them. You can't double. You're gonna crowd the base or the basket so much. All they got to do is dump the ball into one of them.
You got two power forwards.
Mm-hmm.
You got two guys play the same position.
Yeah, they'll make it work though.
Yes, Eric Spoelstra is gonna make it happen, but I don't see them in the top of echelon in the Eastern Conference. Not yet.
The difference is though, both of them can shoot. Bam better than Giannis, but they can space the floor out. So they can rotate in and out down to the basket as needed. And that's something that a lot of other teams are going to have to learn how to deal with. It's one thing when you can, run a fast break and kick it out to the corner for somebody shooting there. But when you have somebody that can go from the post to the outside and still shoot it, people are going to struggle with that. And both of those guys do that.
True. But the one thing we also keep forgetting is that they have no shooting around them. They have no snipers around them. If you're going to sit here and say, as of right now, on July 6, 2026, Andrew Wiggins is third best player on the team. And you laugh, but you know that's a problem.
It's true.
It's a problem.
It's true.
And then you potentially might go into the season as Andrew Wiggins, your third best player on the team. Because you can't sign back Norman Powell. You traded Tyler Hero. You traded everybody on your bench that had potential to be a top scorer. Yeah, okay, yeah, you signed some people. But yeah.
Can we just talk about some of the players that aren't going to even be in the league next season? Giannis's brothers, Bronny James. Like, we could come up with the whole team.
Oh, well, Bronny will still be in the league. Bronny will still be in the league.
Summer League doesn't count.
Hey, man. He has a guaranteed contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. He has a guaranteed contract with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Dad ain't here no more. You're taking up space. We're just going to release you.
All right, so these are the players of Miami he signed. You remember Fontecchio, right?
Oh, yeah.
They signed Tim Hardaway Jr.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Vladimir Golden? Of course, they got Bobby Portis in a trade.
Yeah.
Drew Smith, who doesn't play.
Right.
Trevor Kills, who really hardly played.
Yeah, I was going to say he doesn't.
Ryan Conwell, never heard of him. Myron Gardner, never heard of him.
Because I don't know who that is.
And yeah. They still got Nikolai Jovic, all-around player who can handle the ball, who can pass, dribble.
And Hardaway Jr., he's not a liability. I mean, he can shoot a little bit and he can handle the ball. Defensively, he's, yeah, you're just going to run at him every single time.
And the 2 point guards on your team, you're going to love this. If the season starts today, Davion Mitchell will be your starting point guard. And his backup would be former Michigan player, Trey Donaldson.
When did Trey Donaldson get there?
He played for Michigan 2 years ago.
No, I'm saying, when did he get to Miami?
This season.
Oh. Well, I don't pay attention to Miami all that much, so that'd be why I didn't know.
Yeah. Drafted he went to University of Miami, and now he's in the Miami Heat.
I still think Miami's going to be okay. They'll make a trade during the season for
Yeah, they'll be a
something.
top 16.
But
They'll be
yeah,
a top
well, that's
16.
what I'm saying is they'll be a top six. Like the East is a lot better than what it was, and that's where I think the Pistons that this past season was their season. It was
Um,
not the weakest it could be, but you had a lot of opportunity, and it was your easiest path to get to the finals with Halliburton being out and some of those other things. But I mean, the East got a lot better. The West got moderately better. The East got a lot better.
I think the Pistons will be a top 5 team. I still depends on how Tyrese Halliburton look like, but I also say that just by having him back on the court will spark Indiana. So I do expect the Pacers and the Pistons and the Cavaliers to battle out for the division 1, 2, and 3. My only concern with the Pistons is that if Trajan Langdon decides to run it back and put this young team in trouble, I think he should be on the hot seat for that if he does that. But back to what I was trying to say earlier, they wasn't trying to win this season. They wanted Usher Thompson to be developed. And they feel, Trajan Langdon feels, that Asar holds the key to the Pistons' success.
No.
Now, the plan was for him to work on his jump shot, but the team was winning so much, they had to focus on defense. My question is, if you want him to focus on his jump shot, what are we doing in practice?
Well, that's my whole thing is like how you're saying they want him to develop. By the time you're at the NBA, your game has already been developed. You might tweak something. You might add a shot, or you might take from a 10 range jumper to a 12 or 14. But you're not suddenly going to become a 3-point threat. But again, the dude already plays defense. Defense is more natural and more responsive. You either can play defense or you can't. It's not like you learn how to play defense. So at practice, why isn't this dude on half the gym just shooting 1,000 shots during practice? Sorry, you already know how to do this stuff. Go over there and you're taking 1,000 shots. We're just going to keep feeding you the ball. Just keep shooting.
That was my problem, the whole situation, because when you come out and say, hey, we hired a shooting coach, he's one of the best in the league. We hired him last season. We want Asar to develop that jump shot. We want to develop offensive game. I have no problem with that. But why you can't do that during practice? But see, that's another thing about the NBA. Teams do not practice enough.
Yep.
But even if it's like you said, hey, look, defense assignments you got down. Go over here with the shooting coach. Shoot me 1,000 shots. I'm not saying it don't got to be the 3-point shot. You shoot the 3-point shots. Give me the mid-range jumper. Give me some low posts.
Well, I think it was it 2 or 3 days after the Pistons drafted a Corey? They already showed videos of him working with Mike Miller.
Yeah.
Miami Heat sharpshooter. Dude knows how to shoot. Already, and I watched like 30 seconds of video. Dude drained like 12 threes in a row. Now, granted, they're unguarded, but why aren't we doing that with Asar? Why wasn't Asar there? Maybe he wasn't in the video, but like if you got Mike Miller in there for him, why isn't Asar there?
Even more importantly, why he doesn't have a shooting coach in the offseason. I mean, if you see it, every player's different. I seen Victor go work out with Akeem Olajuwon. You telling me that that's not a Hall of Famer that Sir Thompson can't get in contact with, work on his jump shots? You telling me that he can't go work with Carmelo Anthony? Just shooting? And work on your shooting form?
Well, you got to remember, for a jump shot, you typically have to jump, and Carmelo's knees are shot.
Yeah, but he was money.
He's money. He's money, but his knees are shot.
I'm just saying, players players got to work in the offseason. We see players working the offseason all the time, work on their basketball game. But if you want this young man to work on his offensive game, then you're going to have that player to work with an offensive-minded player, a former player, or a coach who can help him with this game. You tell me Mike Miller want to do wonders for Sir Thompson? Especially when you guys want to offer him a contract extension, a max rookie contract extension. You don't want to have that young man work with Mike Miller or work with Akeem Olajuwon. Kobe Bryant did. His offensive game did wonders. I'm just saying. I mean, there are different ways to play the offensive game. If you think that, if you feel that he is the key to unlock this offense and this team, then you're gonna have to put him in those situations where work with some of the best coaches or former players who have top-notch, some of the best footwork and top-notch offensive skill-minded. You don't think that? I have seen videos where former players have broke down shots of young players. Now, hey, if they do this and they do that, and they work on their footing, if they square up right, you jump right inside the backboard. Well, because he's right in front of the backboard. He's squared up in front of the backboard. He's not squared up in front of the basket. Come on, man. And this is a guy you try to give a max deal to. Well, make it make sense. LeBron James. The greatest NBA player of his generation ended his relationship with the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James said his next team he goes to is going to be about happiness. It's not going to be about money. And there, according to his agent, Rich Paul, there's about 8 to 12 teams who are interested in LeBron James. But that's getting the most notable teams that we have heard so far. The Golden State Warriors, the Miami Heat, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and, of course, everybody's favorite team right now, the Philadelphia 76ers. Who do you think he's going to play for?
I mean, there's never a time where I would say that I want LeBron, but I think LeBron in this certain Pistons environment, that would be my ideal, because this would be something beneficial to both. He'd be on a team that, if LeBron went to the Pistons, they would be back into top consideration out of the East. He'd also be a solid number 2 option. But I don't think he wants the number 2. I think he'd be happy with a 3 or a 4 at this point, or just kind of showing up and just, being the 5th guy there. Miami, I don't think they're going to deal with him again. Now, out of necessity, like we talked about, if LeBron's just bringing the ball up, and occasionally doing, a penetration drive, but mostly dumping the ball off to Giannis or Bam, he might be okay with that. Putting LeBron on that team, you kind of even out with Philly. You go to Philly, now you have LeBron to bring the ball up. Let Maxey do what Maxey does with his slashing and cutting. You got Embiid down there just waiting. And you got Jaylen Brown sitting on the corners. Like, it's if you're going to win a championship, then, hey, pay me league minimum, put me on Philly, and just let me go. That's the ideal. If it's really not about money, league minimum, send me to Philly.
Before I answer that one, Tyrese Maxey don't get enough credit for his cutting.
He reminds me of Rip Hamilton. Like, he's just a nowadays player of Rip Hamilton.
Yeah. Smaller, but yeah, he doesn't get enough
smaller,
credit.
But yeah, he plays the same way that Rip played.
Yeah, he doesn't get enough credit for it. I think the most popular decision is that everybody wants to see LeBron in Golden State with Curry and Draymond and Jimmy Butler and Al Horford. And the reason why I don't want to see it is because
embarrassing.
In the playoffs it would be.
Yeah. Oh, the Golden State Warriors
I
will win
don't.
like 55 games during the regular season, but they're going to be gassed in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't. I just, to me, it's a good fit, but it's not the right team. If I'm in my 40s, like LeBron James is, I think I want to play with a younger team who got some young legs. I want to play a team that when I come in, I'm just that missing piece. With Golden State Warriors, they would still have to make more moves. And I also feel that the Golden State Warriors do not have enough young pieces around those old pieces to extend those legs for them. I think Curry would be fine. But Jimmy Butler coming back from ACL injury, and we talking about he'll be back in the second half of the NBA season, I don't know. Draymond Green, good defender. He is not a good offensive player. I don't know. And to me, I always kind of feel that when you got four guys over the age of 36, bad things can happen. Bad injuries can happen. And that's one thing you don't want to see.
I mean, I know the Pistons aren't in the running, but to me, if we're just talking about teams in the East, Philly and Detroit make the most sense if you're trying to win and win now.
Yeah. So, I forgot one other team. The New York Knicks are interested in LeBron James. And I know we know for a fact LeBron James is interested in the New York Knicks because his infinity playing at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, but Brunson only works when Brunson has the ball in his hand.
Yes, he can't. And everything you said about if LeBron was in Philly and Detroit, he can't do that in New York. And then it would also become a problem is who you bringing off the bench, OG or Mikal Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think neither one. I think more Mikal will have to come off the bench.
And Knicks fans would lose their mind for that trade of getting Mikal to have him coming off the bench.
Oh, fuck yeah. So if he goes to the Miami Heat, the same way you said that he'd do in Philly and Detroit, he'll do exactly in Miami. He'll put more depth to it. He'll bring the ball up. He'll set the offense. He'll run the offense. The only difference, the offense would not run through him. It would run through Giannis. But the only problem with that is that Giannis needs the basketball too. So that's the only way he get downhill.
Yep. So that's one of the biggest things about basketball now that drives me nuts is bigs can't play like bigs anymore. Like Hakeem, you drop the ball into him low, he had that amazing footwork. He had that drop step where he could put that foot back and dip into it and spin, and boom, he's directly under the rim and just goes straight up. Shaq couldn't even deal with that. Yao Ming had the little mini sky hook thing that he would do. But like all those guys back from the 90s had a move.
Mm-hmm.
The guys now don't have a move. They're trying to go back. They're trying to go 8 to 10 feet back and trying to bank it off the backboard or something. It's like, just play like a big.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of tricks in their bags. And the one thing about Hakeem is that Hakeem, even for a big guy, he had the best footwork in his prime in the NBA. His footwork is better than guards. I mean, shout out to Hakeem for playing soccer as a kid, but the man's footwork was unbelievable. And because his footwork was so good, he can do certain moves that will get him free and open. I mean, that jump shot from the side, that 15-footer was money all the time. I mean, to the point where David Robinson couldn't even stop it.
Yep.
Well, actually, David Robinson couldn't stop anything Hakeem Olajuwon did.
Yeah, I love David Robinson as a kid, but when you look at it, like he was great offensively. Defensively, he was not good.
Horrible, right? So when you narrow all that down, I guess the team that made sense for him is Cleveland, and then in the sense of number one, you want LeBron to have a young guy as a top option. You got Donovan Mitchell. You want him to play with bigs who can play D, give you something on offense. Okay, you got Evan Mobley and you got Jarrett Allen. And James Harden can take pressure off, playing the point guard position. He can take pressure off LeBron for bringing the ball up, setting the offense. Only thing LeBron got to do really is just be open for a shot. What's the one thing we just said about Tyrese Maxey's good at getting cuts? LeBron James can get cuts to the basket, easy baskets for him. You want to put him on a team where he doesn't have to do too much, where he doesn't have to be the focal point of the offense. He can just
That's why I say Philly and Detroit. Detroit might not be on his radar. Maybe they do get added to the radar, but honestly, if I'm LeBron, I'm calling Rich and saying work something out with Philly, league minimum, and just let me go.
And I do believe he's gonna take less money, and I do believe he'll take the league minimum. Depends on what team it is. Now,
obviously.
Now, if it's New York, Philly, I do believe he'll take league minimum. If it's Cleveland, I do think if Cleveland offer him the mid-level exception, I think he'll take that. If you're the Lakers, hey, you're celebrating, you're happy.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's because let's keep it real. The Lakers organization runs things differently since the Bucks family. They do things their way. When they sign LeBron James, they have to operate under what LeBron James wants. For the longest time, they didn't operate that way. And they're finding their way back. And all they got to do now is fire Rob Pelinka. I know he's from Michigan, man, but once they fire Rob Pelinka, they get right back right. You could have seen this divorce was coming, especially, was Mike McMillan put that piece out about LeBron James, the Lakers, and how they were disconnected when the relationship, how they treated LeBron, and how LeBron just really.
Well, you could tell that the relationship was fractured when they went and got Luka. Like, that's when you could really start seeing that there was holes in what was going on.
I think it was before then.
It might have started before then, but like it became obvious to even just the general basketball fan that there
because once look, if you just be honest, Luka's a shiny new toy.
Mm-hmm.
But
they got him for nothing.
Once he got traded to the Lakers, he automatically became the face of the franchise. He replaced the guy who's the face of the NBA as now the face of the Los Angeles Lakers. Everything
from the Lakers side, do you think that LeBron lived up to it at all? You won one championship in a shortened season.
LeBron James did everything he did when he was supposed with the Lakers. Everybody, you can put an asterisk. You can say if during the COVID season, he brought the Lakers to the championship. If you want to say that the rest of the years he was there, it was very underwhelming, I'm not going to argue with it. But whose fault is that? Is that LeBron James or is that Rob Pelinka and the Lakers? Because I told you, before you answer that, when Kobe Bryant played and when they dismantled that championship team and they want to go in a younger direction, Kobe Bryant had to live through that. He had to play through. They had to suffer through that. Why? Because the Lakers want to go in a different direction. The Lakers going to do. Lakers going to do. You either like or you don't. You either deal with it or leave. And we all know Kobe Bryant was not going to leave. But we also know is that Kobe Bryant wanted to compete and wanted to win, just like LeBron James. So. If Kobe went through this, what makes you think what's so special about LeBron James? Like he's not gonna go through the same thing?
No, it's LeBron doesn't have the same mentality that Kobe did. There's a reason that LeBron would jump to teams, and you could say whatever you want. He coordinated that Miami team to make it a super team. He had Bosh in his ear already, letting him know this is where I'm going. Dwayne Wade was already there. They had all the role players, the Mike Millers and things like that, set to come over. Like they set that whole thing up.
They had Carmelo Anthony to the last hour until he decided to re-sign back with the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm quite sure, Mel, like damn, I could have. That's 3 championships I missed out on.
But like that right there is the mentality difference between a Michael Jordan and a Kobe versus LeBron. Kobe, like you said, he stuck it out. He had those 4 or 5 crap years until they got Paul Gasol. And then what happened? They won a championship again.
And then what happened after that?
That's exactly.
Crappy years.
Yeah. But Kobe was still great in those years. And he worked with what was around him. When he had pieces around him that could win, he used them.
Yeah,
but when he knew that there weren't pieces around him that could win, he did everything himself for the most part.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. Yeah. But I would say that the Lakers probably started to feel some sort of way when they realized that they just weren't going to win with LeBron. And I think that's where things, and not just with LeBron. I mean, that whole team.
I mean,
it's been patchwork for years. I don't know what the strategy was or anything, but even when they added Luka, it's like both of those guys need the ball in their hand, LeBron and Luka. So who's going to bring the ball up? Like that right there was a problem, which is going to cause issues on the team. Team chemistry matters. Like no matter what some people say, oh, team chemistry doesn't matter. Team chemistry matters a ton. It matters in the locker room and it matters on the floor. When you have 2 people, like we're talking about with some of the teams LeBron could go to, going to the Knicks, if Jalen Brunson doesn't have the ball in his hand, he's useless. He's effectively useless on the court if he doesn't have the ball. And LeBron at this stage still needs to have the ball.
I don't see LeBron James being the guy stand in the corner and be the 3D guy going to shoot the 3-point shots. That's not him.
He's not reliable enough to shoot the 3-point shot at that clip.
Yeah. But not only that, even when they had AD, and somebody put a tweet out, was that for the longest time, AD wanted a center so he can move back to the power forward position. And they did a sign and trade, and they got Walker Kessler. I know AD feels some type of way, but I like AD's response to that tweet. He laughed it off. Because I mean, everybody know AD
for years though.
Yeah, everybody know AD wants to play the 4 position because he don't want to bang with the big guys. That's because it's a wear and tear on him. That's why he stayed hurt all the time.
And the sad thing is Anthony Davis is one of the big guys. That's how small the big guys are now. When Wembanyama, not just from height perspective, but from just body size, Wembanyama is still considered a big guy, even though he's about as thick as my arm.
Yeah. And that's why I always say
Joker is the only real, like, Joker and Cat are like the only 2 real big guys where they've got like bulk to them in size. I mean, Bam's got some like build to him, but he's still real skinny too. Yeah. If Wembanyama could put on 20 or 30 pounds, he'd be scary.
Nikola Jokic spoke today, and he came out and said, Jamie, I don't know if you're, well, you know you're not a Nuggets fan, but he would not be signing his contract extension this offseason. He's going to wait till next offseason. This is the second time that he's been putting off signing his contract extension with Denver. But he said he is loyal to the Denver Nuggets.
I mean, you can only be as loyal as somebody is to you. And if Denver's not going to put up any money to make the team better, why would you? It's in his best interest. Hey, I'm going to put it off till next year. Let's see what you're going to do. You guys add some pieces around, I'll sign. You don't, I'm gone.
It's amazing how Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray has no trade value. But you try to move the one guy you did sign, he made a mistake on his signing, Christian Braun, and nobody wants his contract. Nobody wants any contract of the Denver Nuggets player. That is insane. It was just like 3 years ago, they won the championship, and we were praising Jamal Murray for stepping up and showing up. Now he has no value. Wow.
Yeah.
So what about Austin Reeves? I mean, he needs the ball now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like, I get what Stephen A. Smith was saying with the whole thing that he was doing.
Yeah. It came out the wrong way.
It came out completely the wrong way, but I get what he was trying to go for. So I'll give him credit of, like, I know what you were getting at, But if I'm just the regular guy shooting through the social media news, I'm gonna be like, "What's this racist dude talking about? Can't win with
These are
white people."
brothers on the team.
Have you seen the Boston Celtics of the '80s? Like, what are you talking about? But
These are brothers on the team.
the Lakers are a mess. They're just a complete mess. Like, you don't have any fluid. Again, the chemistry. You don't have any fluidity there. So I don't know. It's going to be nasty.
The Lakers are going through a transition, and that transition is they got new ownership. The guy who owns the Dodgers owns the Lakers now. Mm-hmm. He is now incorporating his system on how he runs the Dodgers. He's bringing that to the Lakers. It's going to take some time. The smart thing he ever going to do is that he's going to give Luka Doncic a new contract. He's going to get that contract extension.
He's going to have to realize that the way he built the Dodgers isn't going to work in the NBA because he ain't going to want to pay those luxury taxes for more than 2 seasons.
What? So he said he had to be like the guy who owns the Portland Trail Blazers, just go ahead and stuck bastard fired everybody?
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy ain't going to be on too much longer in the NBA.
Matt Ishbia, who I worked for, he even figured it out. You can't sit above the luxury cap for too long. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It's going to catch up to you.
Of course. It's funny how these young owners coming out here, got all that money, they got bright ideas, how they going to run this team. Hey, we're going to compete right away. Yeah. Oh, that second apron. That's what y'all was talking about. Yeah, okay. We're going to dial this back here.
Not to mention, part of that luxury cap you spent on Bradley Beal. Yeah. That's the worst part about all of it. You spent that money on Bradley Beal.
Yeah. And you know this second apron actually is going to do is that a lot of teams who, let's put it like this. Prime example, the New York Knicks, they won their championship. I would not be surprised in 3 or 4 years from now, they're rebuilding.
Oh, I'd say within a solid 3 years for sure.
That's that second apron. That's what the aprons are doing, is that teams who've been competing, who've been at the top for about 4 or 5 years, well, we had a good run. We're going to start this rebuild.
And the problem is, like me and you were talking on the phone a couple days ago, it helps keep those super teams. It spaces them out with the idea and purpose of, well, somebody's going to have to go to another team. But there's nothing that the small market teams, the Grizzlies, the Hornets, the Pelicans, there's nothing that forces them to spend money. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm a big fan of, in all sports, a floor and a ceiling. You got to force teams to spend the money, but you can't let them go absurd. There's no reason the Dodgers should be spending the money, having $1 billion roster every season. That's just absurd.
Right. I agree on that one, but I also kind of feel that when I see the teams like the Tigers and the Pirates who are just sitting there collecting money from the Dodgers and the Yankees.
That's why you have to have – that's why you got to have the floor. You have to force them to spend money. You want to be in the league, you're going to participate in the league, which means you're putting your money up to put a team together. So that's where the floor comes in. Is it the perfect answer? No, but there is no perfect answer. But by forcing them, you had Moneyball in baseball. The Athletics got away with it for a season. Then look what happened.
They had to move.
Yeah. But again, like floor, ceiling. No team should be running around with $1 billion roster. Now, every year, every other year, whatever, the caps raise, lower, whatever it needs to do at the time. It's never going to lower because that wouldn't make any sense, but they're going to raise incrementally, so be it. But you have to force the teams to spend money. And if you don't spend the money, there's got to be penalties.
Yeah, before I know this is, I got to say this. It's embarrassing when you see the Pittsburgh Pirates and all that talent that comes through their pipeline, and they come out and say, "Oh, we can't afford these guys." My man, you worth over $6 billion. How can you not afford? What are you doing with your money?
And that's why he should be forced to sell.
Yes. Even when we hear Chris Illich, well,
Chris Illich should be forced to sell.
Yeah.
No question about it.
You can't afford your team? I mean, with Chris Illich case, he ain't letting none of his GMs spend money, but yet we hate Steve Eisenman.
The thing with Steve Eiserman is that he's had so long. Now, has he been handcuffed by Chris Illich? Yes, because we've seen Chris Illich doesn't want to spend money. It's only been like the last 2 years that he's been willing to spend money on the Tigers. But has he been handcuffed? Absolutely. But again, you've drafted these players that are grading out extremely high, that have a ton of value. You don't want to bring them up to play, but you also won't trade them for players that are ready to play now either. So you went from making the playoffs for like 25 years in a row to you're coming up on 10 years of missing the playoffs in what is supposed to be hockey town.
Yes.
That's a problem. So what is it? These players are so good that they need all of this time and all of these seasons to develop, or you're going to trade these to get players that are actual stars now.
He hasn't done either.
How was it that Hughes was available for trade last year, who is from Michigan, has all of his ties here, and winds up in Minnesota?
Oh, that's easy. He's gonna want a new contract, and they're not gonna give it to him.
Exactly. But like, these are the things that people sit back and say, how does this dude still have a job? Like, with the epic collapses year after year, in March, the Red Wings fall apart. It's like once March 1st hits, off the rails.
I do believe that Steve Eisenman knows what this team needs. And I do believe Steve Eisenman wants to go out and spend the money and get those players. But when your owner gives you a budget over the other budget, what can you do?
Well, and that's the problem is, as fans, Eiserman can't come out and say, my boss won't let me spend money, because then he's not going to have a job. So we have to just sit there and assume he's being told he can't spend money, because it's the only thing that makes sense. But then he drafts really well, and it's like, okay, you've got all this potential here. You could not spend money and go trade these players to get actual commodities now, but that's not happening either. So that's where people get frustrated with the whole thing.
And who's the Tigers GM president? I forgot his name.
Scott Harris.
Yeah.
Hate him too.
But
we're going to lose Tarek
Skubal. Makes himself like a fool every time he talks.
We are going to lose Tarek Skubal for nothing. You know why? Because the Tigers are starting to win right now. The worst time in the history of the league, or the history of the organization, that the Tigers could start winning. They're going to win now, and they're going to go all in, and they're going to get knocked out of the playoffs, and Tarek Skubal is going to just walk away and sign with the Dodgers, and we're going to get nothing.
I don't think that's going to happen, Jamie.
I'm just prepping myself. I talk it through in my head, so that way when it happens, I'm like, all right, cool. I know it's going to happen.
No. I mean, they're not going to trade him. He's there for the Tiger season. He's there. They already made that. They say he ain't going nowhere. You know what it The Detroit Tigers are waiting for the players to strike.
Oh, I know. The problem is
players to strike, because they can, once this strike goes, it's going to happen. The players aren't going to get locked out. And once they come to a deal, a guy like Tarek Skubal, who thinks and who wanted that big payday, he's not going to get it from the Dodgers no more.
That's why they're trying to ink it now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why his agent, who we all know, has been trying to push this whole thing. Yeah, he's trying to push this whole thing because they want to ink that massive deal now and get him locked away for 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to happen. The problem is the Tigers have no bargaining power because his contract ends this season.
Right. But The thing is, though, he might not know. They might know bargaining power, but nobody ain't gonna pay him the money that he thinks he deserves.
That's the problem. The Dodgers are that stupid team that will, and they'll say, "Hey, we're going to give you a stupid amount of money for one season."
No, but what I'm saying is that they're not going. He's not going to get the money in free agency. Once this strike goes, and it's going to go into next season, he's not going to get the money he thinks. He's not going to get the money.
Oh, I know that, but I'm just saying the Tigers are still going to lose him for nothing.
Oh, yeah, they're going to lose him. Yeah, they're going to lose him.
I'm saying we could trade him like in 2 minutes. We could trade him and get something really good, but it ain't going to happen because now we're winning, and Scott Harris is going to say, "We're all in on the season. We're going to see if we can win the World Series." You're not going to beat the Blue Jays. You're not going to beat the Guardians, and you're sure as hell not going to beat the Dodgers.
No. And
so what are we doing?
The only way, because I do believe they are negotiating with the Dodgers. And I think the Dodgers are calling on their bluff because I think the Tigers are calling the Dodgers on their bluff. Excuse me, because we all know the Tigers want the Dodgers' top 3 prospects,
as they should.
And right, you should, but the Dodgers ain't coming off of it.
Max Cy Young, yeah, I want everything that you got and more.
Yeah, and the Dodgers are not coming up off of that. They take pride in their farm system. So if you're the Tigers, of course I'm not going to trade Scooba to the Yankees. They got nobody in the farm system that we want. Of course I'm not going to trade him to Toronto. They got nobody in the farm system that we want. He's not going to Boston. He's not going to Seattle. It's the Dodgers, and the Dodgers only. The Dodgers got to come up with top 3 or top 4 prospects.
Well, and that's the whole thing is like, there's only a couple teams. It's not about the money for the Tigers. It's about we need your best players and your prospects. And
this is the funny part.
Everybody's farm system sucks besides the Dodgers, the Tigers, and Boston.
No, Baltimore. No, I'm sorry. Baltimore has a good farm. No, the Pirates.
Yeah, the Pirates. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, those are – and the Padres have a decent one. So, like, those are your only real trade partners. And let's be honest, you take those teams out, it's just the Dodgers. That's it.
And this is the bad part about the whole thing. The Tigers don't even want none of their current players on the team.
If you look at some of the players that the Tigers have waiting, Max Clark is going to be a star in a year or two.
Yeah.
Anderson is ready to come up now, but I know they don't want to start his timer right now. That's the only reason.
Jackson Joe was on his way back.
Yeah. So
look, this is bad. This is so. If you're a Tiger fan, you're looking at this like, wait a minute. We just want their prospects, and the Dodgers don't want to come up their top 3 or top 4 in that row. What are we working with here? Well, let's see. The strike, the owners will lock out the players. Not exactly. The owners feel locked out the Dodgers so they don't spin or get Scoobo. It's not the players, it's the owners locking out the Dodgers. Why?
Yep.
You just broke it down. So yeah. I feel for Scoobo. Because honestly, 3 years ago, he should have been traded.
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago, he should have been traded.
Yeah.
I was the guy who said you do not trade guys that you develop. Unless he's a Scott Boras
absolutely.
Client. Now, unless he's a Scott Boras client, then
yeah. And see, you screwed it up for everybody. Because he ain't got Scott Boras.
I mean, if Scott Boras is your agent, yeah, you get him up out of here. But other than that, you don't trade the guys that you develop. Especially
if I'm an owner, I'm actively trying to get people that don't work with Scott Boras. Because I don't want to have to deal with that guy. Like, you get Scott Boras as your agent, okay, guess what? You're getting traded. I'll just call you up on the phone. You're getting traded. I'm working on it right now.
Who's this guy that signed with the Cubs? That the Tigers wanted, the third baseman.
Oh, Bregman?
He listened to Bregman, right? Oh yeah, man, he's gonna get that money with the Red Sox. Red Sox are just like, really? You can buy your contract right now? But he took less money to join the Chicago Cubs.
Yep.
Isn't that man like 35, 36 years old?
Yep. Now, back to the Dodgers. If I'm the Dodgers knowing the bargaining agreement's coming, I don't want to give up my best players either because I'm going to get those guys on the cheap. And I'm going to have my best players on the cheap.
If you're the Dodgers, if the Tigers don't want Tucker, and I like Tucker. Tucker's a hell of a good player. He's struggling with the Dodgers.
Tucker's good, yeah.
And he's struggling with the Dodgers. The second half of the season, he'll catch back on. But if you're sitting here telling me that the Detroit Tigers, who got the best pitcher in the world, who might win his third Cy Young award, doesn't want nobody on the main roster but want all my farm system prospects? Nah, we can't have that, man. Come on, man. Take Tucker, take Hernandez, take
Yep.
Pick one. You just can't take O'Shaughnessy and Freeman. You can't take them. There's only two you can't take. Everybody else over there, just pick one. Pick one. Pick one. You want a pitcher? Take Blake. You don't want Blake Snell? You don't want? Okay. I don't know. Just take one of my offensive players. Y'all need offense. Tiger fans want to see some offense. Pick one. Just not Freeman or Ashanti. Or you can't have them two. Everybody else you can have. Don't touch my farm system. No, but I'm going to keep them. Those guys in another year or so, when the league go on strike because of us, we need them guys on a call up real quick.
Yep. And that's what everybody knows. That's why everybody's trying to hoard their top prospects, because after the bargaining agreement happens, things are going to be a whole lot different.
It's funny how players in baseball, like for example, once this strike happened and once it's over with, I don't see Giancarlo Stanton with the Yankees no more. No. Not because of his contract, because he's hurt. Actually, no, maybe because of his contract. Kyle O'Reilly in Seattle, he's a very good catcher, very good offensive hitter. He ain't gonna get that money he think he's gonna deserve. The Yankees will look at Aaron Judge like this, like sideways, like, man, we pay you all this money and you ain't done nothing since we went to the World Series and you struggling in that. What we paying you all this money for now? The New York Mets gonna be rebuilding their whole damn squad. But here's the Tiger right here. Happy. Here's the Tiger with the blueprint. Hey, give me all your prospects, and you can have Riley Green too.
Take him.
If you don't Riley Green, you want Kerry Carpenter? Hey, we already pimping out Scuba. For Scuba, we even throw in Jack Flaherty, his best friend. Come
on. If the Tigers were to package Casey Mize and Tarek Skubal together, because Mize is back and just it's ridiculous right now what he's doing. You package those two together, you could basically take an entire team starting lineup.
I'm just saying, I mean, if you're the Dodgers, I mean, you get Skubal right now, and they know the money right there right now. 10 years, $400 million, or 10 years, $450. You guarantee yourself probably the next 3 World Series championships.
See, the problem is though, and where Boris is probably not helping Skubal is, dude's already had Tommy John surgery twice. The dude's arm is one throw away from just falling off of his body. You also have the new bargaining agreement coming. If I'm all these teams, I'm just sitting back and just saying, let's see what happens. We'll sign you for 1 year. He's not going to be happy about it. I'll pay you a ton of money for 1 year if I'm the Dodgers. But I don't want to sign this guy to 3 years. And I think that's where the giant disconnect with the Tigers is he wants this long-term deal because he knows his arm might fall off.
I just wonder when it comes to Skubal, is it he wants a long-term deal or does it Boris wants a long-term deal.
He said he wanted a long-term deal. That's why he went and got Boris as his agent, was to negotiate that. He keeps telling everybody he loves Detroit. He wants to be in Detroit, takes out full-page ads in the newspaper and stuff, and does all that. And he might mean it, but Boris doesn't care who he plays for. Boris just cares about getting the most money possible because he gets the most money possible.
Yes, he does. We all know Boris don't like Detroit.
He doesn't like Detroit. He's actually been pretty clear about that. But
who's our OG? Ever since Dombrowski, told him what it is, how it's going to be.
Yeah,
he ain't been right since with Detroit.
That is true. He does hate Detroit.
Wait, what? You what? My client got to do what?
And he's so passive aggressive when he talks to the media about Detroit too. I don't know what the kiddies are doing. Like, seriously.
I want to know what the words that Dave Dombrowski said to that man that got him all messed up mad about Detroit.
Right?
You know it ain't Mike. It wasn't Mike Illich.
Can you imagine, what Dave Dombrowski looks like? Can you imagine Dave Dombrowski, hard talking somebody like that to make them feel some sort of way 10 years later?
I don't know. When it comes to money, it might be.
Like, Dave Dombrowski looks a lot like Brad Stevens, just older.
You do. But we don't know behind closed doors when it comes to paying somebody big time money.
It's true.
Dave Ross probably like, look at here. You can take this. You can walk your ass out of my office.
But yeah, I mean, if Scooble, this could be one of those things where, I mean, the simple thing is people are going to say somebody's going to pay him. And somebody like the Dodgers that don't really value money probably will. But long term, most of these other teams, you don't hear a lot of other teams even reaching out about Scooble because he wants a multi-year deal. A dude that's had 2 Tommy John surgeries, which Tommy John, it's not the same as it was 20, 30 plus years ago when one Tommy John surgery, your career's over. It's like an ACL in the NFL. 20, 30 years ago, your career's done. Adrian Peterson can go and tear both ACLs and be back in 6 months and run for 2,000 yards. But still, you've already had that surgery twice. You've had other shoulder issues going on, and you want a multi-year, long-term deal because your arm could go out at any time.
Mm-hmm.
No team out there should be trying to give this guy more than a year, 2 years tops at a time.
Mm-hmm. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the DS Swat Double Drop Podcast. I'm your host, DS Swat. I'm joined by special guest Jamie. Our other special guest, Taimon, will be on at 6:15 Central Time. He is currently right now doing the Big 12 media. What's going down to Frisco, Texas. He's going to come on. We're going to continue the basketball talk, but we're also going to pick his brain of what happened in the Big 12 media day with the coaches and the ADs. We're going to talk about Brandon Sorsby once he come on. Just talk about some sports. Now, I do got to prep Jamie. I got to prep him. So with Taimon, that's my friend. We done shows together. We done bar shows together. But the one thing I'm going to tell you that Jamie is that Taimon is a huge sports fan like us. The only difference is, though, he's a Cowboy fan.
Well, I guess it's a good thing I'm going to have to hop off. I got to take care of the baby. You got me for the last 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you tune into the show, that's what you're going to see. And Taimon is a Cowboy fan, and I'm going to have to.
I might think less of you for doing a show with him.
We've done shows over the years. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I know that you have now, so I might have to think a little bit less.
Yeah, look, let me give you a little our background. See, we worked for Dallas Sports Fanatics back in the day. Before that, we worked for BGC Sports. We was at BGC Sports. We did we covered the Mavs, got in the locker room, met Tony Romo and the Mavs players. Cool. Then he went to Dallas Sports Fanatics and brought me on, and we did live shows at the bars. We did the NFL draft party. We did an interview with Jason Terry. We sold out the bar, by the way. I got photos of me with Jason Terry. That was cool. We interviewed former Cowboy players, Lincoln, and I forgot the other guy's name. He was a young guy. He was okay, but Lincoln was funny. We did it all, and we had fun doing it. It was kind of unusual because everybody there was a Cowboy fan except for me. I had to sit through that. I couldn't fake it. Couldn't fake it, but hey, I enjoyed it. I never told those guys that I was a Pistons fan or a Lions fan, because during that time the Lions suck, so I ain't want them to laugh at me.
It's understandable.
Yeah, so he'll be coming on, and we're gonna talk about that good stuff. Jamie will be tuning in to watch him and my other favorite person, JJ.
Yeah. So I bid everybody adieu, but yeah, I gotta go take care of the baby. Mommy's getting a little antsy.
Yes, sir. And thank you for coming on, man. And next time when you come back on, we will talk about more baseball. And by the way, tune us to me and Jamie tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern time for the Central Venture podcast, because we got to talk about how his favorite wrestler, Sheamus, is leaving the WWE at the end of his contract, which is coming up within the next few months or so. So we'll give you a little inside scoop on that he is leaving the WWE. And we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Matter of fact, that might be the whole show.
You can't say that on a show that I'm not on regularly. I can't stand Sheamus. I never could.
Okay.
Just saying.
So, adios, Sheamus. So,
you go.
All right, my guy. Pull your Sheamus card. Adios.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. And thank you for sharing your argument. It was good. I appreciate it. But now, go ahead and your business.
I will. I'll talk to you.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is me. It's your boy, DS Walk. And as we wait for Taimon to come on this show, I just want to thank everybody for sticking by me, supporting me, and enjoying the content that I put out. Now, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share the show. It helps a brother out. It helps me out big time. But don't you worry, because you're going to see a lot more of me. And also, shout out to everybody who watched my KWDB radio podcast radio show. Thank you guys for supporting me there as well. And thank you for liking my Father's Day show that I did with 3 tremendous fathers and 3 tremendous men who are well appreciated in the community and in their home. So thank you guys for your support on that as well. Now, before Taimon come on, I'm going to continue the basketball talk. I enjoyed the baseball talk there. The Lakers are going to be fine. They're going to go through a transition. They won't be the same Laker team because we were thinking the Lakers for the last 6-7 years. We think the Lakers and LeBron James. LeBron James not going to be there anymore. And LeBron James will be moving on, and which is fine. The Lakers has been through this once or twice, 3 or 4 or 5 times. They will be fine. They officially now going to build this team around Luka, and they're going to put the pieces together, put the pieces around Luka, so that they will be able to compete. Now, this team is not a finished product. It's going to take the next offseason to get this team back to prominence, but it's going to take a full off season. So the players who they sign, don't look at them as long-term pieces, because we all know the one thing the Lakers are good at, they will chase that big star, and that's what they're going to do next off season in the next off season after that. So this team is not a finished product, but I will say signing Austin Reeves back, that's what Luka wanted. He got his guy. He got his center. He got a guy who can patrol the middle, who can give him some buckets and play some defense, who be the last man of defense. The Lakers are good on those 2 fronts. Now they're going to build out the entire roster. They made some big time. They made some signing. They got Quinn Grimes, which is it'd be a nice addition. I'm sorry, he is a nice addition piece. But again, like I said, the Lakers are not done. Um, Trading deadline next off season after that. I do expect the Lakers in 2028 and 2029 to be a threat to win the championship. I don't share the same sentiment of the Detroit Pistons when I don't think they'll get worse. I do believe the Pistons somehow, some way, gonna figure this out, and I do believe they're gonna make a trade or two. I do believe that they're gonna go hard and get Trey Murphy. I also do believe that they're gonna go hard and try to get Kevin Durant. And I hope a Sir Thompson is out here taking his offense game serious and working on them. Because if the front office believe in this young man, which we know they do, if he works on his offense, if he shows any type of life on offense, when I mean that, I mean if he can go out here and average 13 to 15 points per game, that would make the Detroit Pistons a legitimate threat to win the Eastern Conference. But he has to work on the offensive game. Along those lines, they're going to have to repair their relationship with Jalen Duren. Like I said earlier in the show, I do believe that he is a $40 million player. I would not offer this young man $35 million. He went out here, he won. He won. He proved himself. I don't understand the low ball tactics. Honestly, I don't. But again, we don't know what was offered to him. But I do believe he's a $40 million player. And if I'm the Pistons, I'm getting that deal done. And I stick by what I said because I truly believe that his next contract, once he signed this with the Pistons 5-year deal, his next contract, once that run out, would be at the age of 27. I don't see him coming back to Detroit. I don't. Because he's going to be too expensive. And the way the Pistons are doing business now, they don't want that type of contract, especially if they value Asar Thompson more than Jalen Duren. And to a certain degree, I do believe that Asar Thompson is not going to get a big max contract. I think he'll get a max, but not a super max contract. The only guy here that's going to get paid 50, 60, 70 plus million dollars, Cade Cunningham. And I think what Trajan Langdon and this front office has to understand is that you're going to have to keep your best player, your superstar, your leader happy. So Jalen Duren makes him happy because you definitely dropped the ball and not bringing back Tobias Harris. I do like the John Collins signing. I do like that. I do like the Isaiah Joe trade, which is now completed with OKC. You traded Stu, a fan favorite, a team favorite, the guy who the guy who embraced the culture of Detroit, who embraced the Pistons culture. You traded him. And I understand why. I do. So with that said, you have to bring Jalen Duren back, which they will, and you have to repair the relationship with Jalen Duren, and you have to make it right. Because you can't go into the season where one of your best players is pissed off, unhappy with the front office, because you're not going to get the best basketball out of him. So with that said, we're going to have to stick around and see what moves the Pistons going to make. We're going to see what direction they're going to go in. It's going to be Kevin Durant or Trey Murphy. But again, make no mistake, they can't start the season without a number 2 scorer. They can't start this season without a flat-out scorer. They can't start this season as is knowing that the Charlotte Hornets, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Atlanta Hawks, the Miami Heat, potentially the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Indiana Pacers, the Orlando Magic are all going to be there. In some instances, some of those teams have gotten better. We already know the Knicks are better than the Pistons. We already know on paper right now the 76ers are better than the Pistons, and potentially the Cleveland Cavaliers if they sign LeBron James, and the Indiana Pacers, because they get their best player back. They get their injury that makes them go. So that's 4 teams. Pacers, Knicks, Cavs, 76ers. That's 4 teams. That's ahead of Detroit. So Detroit can't come out here and go into this season as is with this team they have right now. They have to add a flat out second option and a flat out scorer. They have to. If they don't, they're going to be in the world of trouble, and to the point where the Miami Heat, even with Giannis, is going to pass them up. So we're going to have to stay tuned and wait and see what happens. Just like we're going to stay tuned and see when Taimon's going to come on. He is on his way back to his hotel. And, like I said, Taimon is down there at the Big Ten Media. He works with the Big 12 Network, excuse me, not the Big Ten, the Big 12. And I'm quite sure he has a lot of insight he can share with us. Quite sure he can't share everything with us, but I'm looking forward to having Taimon coming on, talking some more basketball, and talk about what happened down in the Big 12 Media today with them coaches down in Frisco, Texas. I want to talk about the Kawhi Leonard trade, because Kawhi Leonard was traded to the Toronto Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, and 2 first-round picks. I think it's 2, or it could be 1. Now, we do know that the Kawhi Leonard situation, circumventing the salary cap, that investigation is over. Now we're just waiting for the end result of what's the ruling going to be? What's the fine? What's the suspension is going to be? And right now, that has been postponed. The NBA has not made any type of ruling or hasn't even shown anything about anything. I mean, it's a weird situation, because usually when a player is under investigation, when a player is in quite a situation, they don't get traded. Trades don't get accepted right away, I should say. And that's why it's weird. That's why this whole situation smells pretty darn bad. You see, the guy who is the voice of the owners, Larry Tannenbaum, is the guy who owns the Toronto Raptors, in which that is Roger Communication Incorporated. Larry Tannenbaum is the voice. He is the chairman of the NBA owners. He's the guy that does the talking for them. It's ironic how the league is waiting to come down with the ruling, and they want to do this before the draft, some in between the draft and the last game of the NBA Finals. And we're going to do July, and free agent starts. We haven't heard anything. You see, Larry Tannenbaum, what he is trying to do is that he's trying to minimize the punishment of the Los Angeles Clippers for circumventing the salary cap. Mainly what I'm trying to say is that he is trying to save money. He is trying to save money. He is trying to, let me pull the guy up right quick. He is trying to lessen the blow for Steve Ballmer. For a reason I just don't know why. I mean, we talking about a guy who's been cheating ever since he became the owner of the Clippers. He's ever since Kawhi Leonard was in San Antonio, he's been trying to low-key backdoor, trying to get him. And now all of a sudden that Steve Ballmer, who was crazy about Kawhi Leonard, who would never trade Kawhi Leonard, trades Kawhi into the Toronto Raptors. All of this is a PR stunt. All of this is trying to lessen the blow of what the NBA found, which was Steve Ballmer hand got caught in the cookie jar. You see, this is what I call the owners protecting owners. Because they know Steve Ballmer was wrong. They know that he was wrong for cheating. The guy who owns the Toronto Raptors is taking advantage of the situation and say, you know what, let me help you out here. I can go ahead and talk to Adam Silver. Let's see if we can lessen this punishment for you. Let's see if we can lessen the blow by, let's make a trade. Kawhi Leonard. Let's bring him back to Toronto. And Kawhi's part, he probably seeing it as, you know what? If I don't take this trade, I'm probably going for a season 2. Contract gonna get canceled. It's gonna get terminated. I'll be free agent. I'm not gonna get the money. I'm not gonna get that big payday no more. So they struck a deal. So now we hear is that Larry Tannenbaum and Kawhi Leonard, who also has an agent. Yes, that's Kawhi Leonard has an agent. And I'll pull up the article right here. According to sources, to Shams, Kawhi Leonard Raptors are expected to start contract extension talks this week in Toronto after his trade becomes official. And the 2-time Finals MVP will do so with new representation. Leonard has hired Harrison Gaines of Slash Sports as his new agent to oversee negotiations. Sources told ESPN. Gaines will meet with the Raptors officials in Toronto over recommendations to discuss the future of Leonard, who has 1 season and $50.3 million remaining on his contract. Gaines has worked closely with Leonard over the past year as his business attorney. The change is a major shift for Leonard, who previously had Mitch Franco and his uncle and business advisor Dennis Robertson handle all of his affairs. Franco represented Leonard on his negotiation with the LA Clippers, including a 3-year extension signed in 2024. On June 30th, the Clippers agreed to trade Leonard to the Raptors for Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick, unprotected first-round picks in 31, 33, and a 2027 first-round pick swap and 2 second-round picks. The trade cannot be made official until Monday. Leonard previously won Finals MVP with the Raptors in 2019 as he averaged 28.5 points per game in a victory over the Golden State Warriors, as the Clippers discussed. Ooh, Taimon is trying to come on. So this is what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let me see if I can pull up Taimon here. Hold on, because all right. Let's help Taimon get on to the show because we got a lot to talk about. Lots and lots to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. And boom. And new link. Boom and boom. All right. That link went out to Taimon. So yeah, that's the Kawhi and Leonard situation. Hopefully I get Taimon's opinion on that. But yeah, I believe the NBA gonna come down soft on the Clippers, and that's gonna be a sad day because basically what the NBA Adam Silver basically is doing is that they're letting these guys off the hook. They don't want to make the richest owner of all sports pissed off. They don't want to punish him for cheating. So what we gonna do? We gonna have him trade Kawhi Leonard. We're gonna let Kawhi go to another team. We're gonna soften the blow because right now it's a PR nightmare because Pablo Torre has embarrassed the NBA because he had all the facts. He laid everything on the line, and the NBA just got caught with their pants down. And instead of the NBA trying to do the right thing, they're gonna let the Clippers off the hook in the name of money. You see, this is what's gonna be the downfall of Adam Silver because now players gonna want those same treatment, just like the owners got. Just like Steve Ballmer's about to get, the players gonna want that same treatment. That's just my opinion. We're gonna find out. We're gonna see, but it looks like it's heading that way. Also in the news, Marcus Sasser, Detroit Pistons, rumored, it has been official, but rumored that he'll be traded to the Dallas Mavericks. Now, if this trade goes through, the Mavericks get another 3 points, another 3-level score. Marcus Sasser is a sniper. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to crack the rotation in Detroit. But if he does get traded to Dallas, he will get that opportunity to be part of the rotation and get to play with a up-and-coming superstar named Cooper Flag. If this trade goes through, to me personally, this would be a great opportunity for Marcus Sasser to not only play with Cooper Flag, but be able to go out here and showcase his skill set, let everybody know that, hey, I can ball. I can play. What you seen in Detroit, you just saw the sample size. But yeah, I'm again, keep an eye on that. No matter what, whether he gets traded or he stays, I do expect big things on Marcus Sasser. And hopefully for him, he does get traded so he get more playing time. Again, he can showcase his skill set. He can showcase what he can do. He's more than just a guy who sits on the bench and only plays 5 minutes per game. He's more than that.
Nearing the end.
Well.
Man, I'm trying to put it on my computer. For some reason, there's a block. I think that was the reason.
Well, let me give everybody the right introduction here. Ladies and gentlemen, the guy you see on my TV screen and on my computer screen, on his computer screen, this is the guy who I did shows with when I lived in Dallas, Texas. This is the guy who knows more sports than I do. This is the guy who would sit there proudly, as he is right now, wearing his Dallas Cowboys shirt. This is the guy who actually made me respect Cowboy fans who are not the bandwagons. This is the same guy at some point we'll call out Jerry Jones. This is the guy who I did shows with, and we sold out bars and we did a lot of interviews. And also, this is the guy who actually right now concentrating and trying to pull up on his computer.
It's driving me crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I get the guy who just blacked out the screen.
Oh, my goodness.
See. You happy now? Well, there we go. He was there and then he left. All right, well, Taimon facing his technical difficulties. Let's get right to the football stuff. Taimon was down here at the Big 12 media, and I'm quite sure, he got a lot of good insights, a lot of good bulletproof points from the coaches down at the Big 12 media. I'm quite sure the number one topic was Texas Tech and Brendan Sorsby, not Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. And I'm quite sure that, we all, wait a minute.
I'm going to have to use my phone. This computer is driving me crazy.
Okay.
It logged me in. I just hope my phone doesn't die. I should be good. I'm about to give it up.
Man, let's go switch to the phone.
Wait a minute.
We waiting.
All right, I'm going to use the phone.
All right. You ready?
Yeah. Let's see. I got 51%, so I should be good.
Where's your charger?
I came straight here. I didn't want to keep you waiting. It's still in the car.
Okay. All right, man. It's all good. We got
Wait a minute. Booyah!
Yeah, because you don't got a lot of time because it's another.
Yeah, I got time. Let's do it.
Another 42 minutes. You got to head back to work. So
let's do it. Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my friend, my brother, the guy who knows everything about Dallas sports and sports in general, the man who's down at the Big 12 meetings, Big 12 Media Day, doing what he do best, covering sports. Ladies and gentlemen, Taimon Turner.
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? It's good to be back with DS Walk 40. I hope everybody's living a dream.
We all
That's the best way to live.
Heck yeah, my man. So, what's been going on down the Big 12 Media Day?
Well, nothing yet. Technically, Big 12, the Monster Energy Big 12 Football Media Days begins tomorrow, but we were down there today setting things up, making sure everything will be good to go tomorrow. We're going to have a lot more to talk about. Actually, I heard you talk about Brendan Sorsby. Joey McGuire is in the hotel that I'm in, and I saw him in the lobby downstairs, Texas Tech Red Raiders head coach. I'm sure there will be a lot, but there's a lot to talk about for the conference. Not only just about Brendan Sorsby with the conference, they're talking about conference realignment, how that's going to take place, how the college football playoff, 24 teams, that'll be talked about. There was a lot of controversy last year. Some people believe, particularly in the Big 12, that BYU should have been in the college football playoff in 2025. I am one of those people who believe that, and I think they are being underlooked this year in the Big 12. I think that Texas Tech, I understand why they are the favorite, even without Sorsby. But for BYU, watch out for guys like Bear Bachmeyer, LJ Martin, Isaiah Glasker. They are going to put on a show in the Big 12 this year.
All right. And what are we expecting from the Big 12? Like, who, other than Texas Tech and BYU, who's another threat in the Big 12?
Yeah, I would go with Houston. I think Houston is a team that is being very underlooked. They went 6-0 on the road in 2025 last season. I think Willie Fritz, you take a look at their head coach, you look at his resume, he's won everywhere he's gone. He went from Tulane, he went to Houston, and he said he went to Houston because he wants to win a national championship. And when we think about the Houston Cougars, we think about their basketball program, we think about Kelvin Sampson, we think about the work that he's done. Well, Willie Fritz wants to do that for the football side. And you think about Connor Wegman, who has been a stud, who has played well. Look, Houston is on a mission. They really, really would like to be in that championship window, be in that Big 12 championship game in December. They want to be in the college football playoff. I would say another team that you have to look out for would be Kansas State. Shockingly, Kansas State with their new head coach Colin Klein, who's a Kansas State legend. Remember him, the former former offensive coordinator at Texas A&M. He is going to bring a different dynamic to this offense this year. I think he's really going to utilize their quarterback, Avery Johnson, in a way that he wasn't utilized under Colin Klein. By the way, don't say Chris Kleiman. Don't say Colin Klein and Chris Kleiman too fast because, man, the Klein and the Kleiman, I always get them confused. Even though Chris Kleiman retired at the end of last season, Colin Klein is the new head coach, Kansas State legend, but I think their offense is going to be very, very well, do very, very well. And another team that, listen, I don't think they're going to compete in the Big 12 championship, or I don't even think they're going to win the Big 12, but a team that I can see being very dangerous is Oklahoma State. They have a new head coach, Eric Morris, who did a really good job in North Texas. Their quarterback, Drew Mestamaker, is a stud. He is projected to be a first-round draft pick next year. And if you look at what Eric Morris has done, all he does is create dynamic quarterback offenses. Remember, he has coached a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes being one of them. We all know how well that went with Texas Tech. So I think Oklahoma State's offense will be really good. And remember, they haven't won a game in Big 12 play in 2 years. They fired Mike Gundy last year. They hired Eric Morris at the beginning of the season. Caleb Hawkins, their running back, we spoke with him about a month or so ago, and he is a phenomenal runner. I wouldn't be surprised if he leads the Big 12 in rushing this year. So I think there's going to be I think people are underlooking the Big 12 this year.
I mean, if they are, that's a mistake. I mean, the Big 12, yes, last year was one of the best conferences in college football. They had one of the top teams in college football in Texas Tech. And I think in some instances, if I remember correctly, a lot of people had big Texas Tech might win the national championship. But they were that good last year.
Texas Tech was really good. Baron Morton was their quarterback, but they Texas Tech is going to get some criticism because of how they played in the Orange Bowl in the college football playoff last year against Oregon. They lost game 23-0. It was ugly. It was not a good game for the Red Raiders. But, they're looking for Texas Tech to make that next step. And a lot of people thought that next step was going to be with Brendan Sorsby. But obviously there was the scandal, the aftermath of the scandal. And now Texas Tech is still really good. That's one thing that we can remember. And their new quarterback, Will Hammond, who's coming off an ACL tear, he's still really good. Will Hammond is still very, very good. He was going to be QB1. If you recall last year, Texas Tech, Bear Morton got hurt against Utah. And Will Hammond came in, and they didn't miss a beat. So it's like, they still dominate. And Will Hammond looked really, really good. He could do things that Barrymore could. He could scramble. He's very good past the line of scrimmage. So I think Texas Tech is going to be okay, but I don't have them winning the Big 12 this year.
Who you have?
BYU.
Ooh.
I have BYU because there has not been a repeat Big 12 winner since 2021. That's number one. Number two, I am a big believer in continuity, and I think there's more continuity with the BYU Cougars than there is right now with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And I also believe that Kalani Sitake is a phenomenal head coach, and I think you're going to see the best of Kalani Sitake this season.
Okay. Now, has the Brendan Sorsby situation, has it calmed down yet? Has it died down, that story?
I hope so. I really do. I hope so. I am kind of tired of hearing about it. I think that, here's a kid. Did he make a mistake? Yes. Did he break the rules? Yes. Yeah. Let's move on.
Because apparently he moved on. He's going to be trained for the NFL draft for next year. I mean, look, it's wrong what he did. Can't be gambling on your team. Can't be gambling in sports in general, period. But I want everybody to understand he's not the only one who did it or who is going to do it. This is one of the main complaints I have about NFL and college being in depth doing gambling. It's this right here. This is what I've always been against. And the NCAA is gonna have to find a way to fix this. The problem, don't leave it to the conference press, the conference commissioner, don't leave it to the schools to fix this. The NCAA needs to fix this. You're the head institution this thing. Fix it.
Well,
don't let Congress come down and make rules. This is your responsibility.
The easiest answer for college football to be fixed, it can be fixed in a day, is just to have collective bargaining. If there was a collective bargaining agreement, none of this would be happening. It's that simple.
Yes. Now you have mentioned realignment. I have seen some things that Congress in October might pass down a ruling or a bill about conference expansion or realignment, and you see team or conference like the SEC, the Big Ten, that might expand to 20 plus teams. I haven't seen anything about the Big 12 on expansion or the ACC on expansion. What's your take on it?
Well, Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark, that's something he's going to have to answer tomorrow. I'm sure it'll come up. As for realignment, my personal thoughts are, there's been so many realignments in the last, I don't know, since I was a kid, right? So, and I think it always corrects itself. It works itself out. I'm not too worried about it. I think that, if there is another realignment, the teams, the programs, the conferences, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, me personally, I'm against it. I've been against it ever since I seen Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA, all in the Big Ten. I'm like, it don't make no sense. Geographically, that's what I'm against. I don't have a problem with expansion or realignment. I just want to make sense. I kind of feel that, realignment expansion is what destroyed conference. It destroyed the Pac-12, and that ain't got a bad meter rights deal. I don't want to see the Florida States of the world, or Miami, or the Virginia Techs of the world leave and go to the SEC, go to the Big Ten. I don't believe the SEC, the Big Ten don't need to expand. I don't believe none of the conference need to expand. It's more anything, they need to start building up conferences. They need to start bring back the Big East, replenish the Pac-12. I understand, for example, I'm a Big Ten guy. I understand why the Big Ten wants to be in the Florida market. That is something they want to be in. They want to be in that Florida market. I get that. Just like they want to be in the New York market. I understand that. It don't make no sense geographically, but money-wise, I get it. Again, I'm big on, you don't need Congress, you don't need the president to be involved in these type of decisions.
Collective bargaining.
Yeah. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy that like you said, college football has been expanding since me and you both were kids. And now it's getting out of control.
Well, I mean, look, we live in a new world now. We live in an NIL era. We live in an era where, money, there's a lot of money involved. And there's always been a lot of money involved, but now there's no guardrails. And, you can make the argument there were guardrails in place before, even though it wasn't perfect. But, me personally, I remember debating when I was younger, should athletes get paid? Should athletes get paid? And I always went back and forth on it because I used to always think, well, I understand why they would get paid, but, at the same time, I always thought, well, they got free room and board. They got a free education. And me personally, I don't know if that's valued as much anymore because of you can make a lot of money. That's better than the education. Perhaps there was, a reason for that. But that's just, I digress on that.
Yeah, I hear you. So let's move away from college football. Thank you for all that. Now we're going to get to basketball. And before you came on, I had mentioned that the Dallas Mavericks and Detroit Pistons about to or talking about making a trade where Marcus Sasser would be going to the Dallas Mavericks. And we don't know when that trade is going to be official, when it's going to be made, but that's what we all been hearing. Playing with Cooper Flag, and I had said for Marcus Sasser going to Dallas, it's a good thing for him. Number one, you might be able to get some playing time and showcase what you can do. Number two, and more importantly, you get to play with Cooper Flag. And when you play, he's going to make your game a lot easier. So what you think?
Well, I want the trade to be official first. I don't know, man. I am very intrigued by what Masai Ujiri and Mike Schmitz, the Mavs' new president of basketball operations, their alternate governor, and Mike Schmitz, their new GM. I'm very interested in what they're doing. They drafted your boy, Morez Johnson. Rez. I like him already.
Yeah, they got my coach too.
Yeah, they hired Dusty May, and I like that too. But I don't know what the vision is for Masai. The best we can look at is the ultimate vision, which was his grand prize, which was his championship in Toronto in 2019. Is he trying to rebuild that, or is he trying to expand off of that? And I don't know. One thing I've noticed about what Ujiri's done so far is that he drafted Morris Johnson. He traded for Aldama from Memphis. You still have PJ Washington. You still have Masai Ujiri. They just signed today. I'm drawing a blank on his name. From I believe Turkey. I believe it. I know he's a European player. I can't remember his name. I just know he's a wing. But the Mavericks have a lot of wings. So it tells me that a trade is going to happen. You can't have that many wings. You know, and there's nothing wrong with having, a lot of wings, but you can't. You have too many right now. You got Morez, you got PJ, you Cooper in a sense is a wing. You got Aldama, you got this guy from Turkey. What's going? Or I believe Turkey. I want to make clear on that. I'll look up his name in a second. But I want to make clear, what is the vision? I'm willing to give Messiah's time because he has success. As for Sasser, the Mavericks do need point guard play. I one person that you did not mention, which I'm a little shocked is Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie Irving is coming back. And the Mavericks have given no indication that Kyrie Irving will be traded. They have spoken out saying that they really want Kyrie Irving to be a mentor to Cooper Flag, and they want to really allow Kyrie's open that he wants to be in Dallas and play with Cooper Flag. The minute that Dusty May got hired officially, Kyrie Irving it goes live on Instagram and X, and he's like, "Hey, Dusty, welcome to Dallas." So the Mavericks do need a backup point guard because Brandon Williams is gone, Jaden Hardy is gone. So what is their plan at point guard? What is their plan at the two? I'm waiting to see how this plays out.
I didn't mention Kyrie because Kyrie's going to be there, and Kyrie is on another level of his own when it comes to what he does on the basketball court. The reason that's why I didn't mention him. Marcus Sasser is going to benefit from Kyrie Irving, but he also going to benefit from Cooper Flag. He needs that. He needs some run. He needs some playing time. And being the backup point guard behind Kyrie, Marcus Sasser can play both positions, shooting guard and point guard. So being that backup, he'll get the playing time he deserved. He's gonna the kid can shoot. He just wasn't healthy this year or last year to prove that. And then when he did prove it, it came in as look. You seen the Pistons got bounced by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and in the one game he played, he was a spark plug. But then another game he played, he was just off. He doesn't play. He didn't play consistent minutes in Detroit. I expect him to play consistent minutes in Dallas, and I expect him to showcase what he can do. I think, like I said earlier, this is a good trade for Marcus Sasser. Look, I'm just looking forward to seeing what he can do. And the Euro player name is Tariq Berukov.
Yes. That is the player I was talking about.
Yeah, he signed a multi-year deal with the Mavs today. Oh, well, that trade is official for Marcus Sasser in Detroit. I'm sorry, but Morez Johnson. This is what I can say about Morez Johnson is that I don't know what position he's going to play in Dallas.
I do.
He can play the 5.
He's not going to play the 5.
The small ball 5 he can do.
I think. Go ahead.
He's going to be. Is Cooper playing the 4 and the 3, or just the 3?
Cooper can play whatever position he wants. Mean, look, right now, I would say the Mavs starting 5, and this is very subject to change because again, I think they're going to make a trade. But I think if I had to say right now, your starting 5 is Kyrie Irving, Cooper Flag, Morez Johnson, Derek Lively, if healthy, and right now your 2 is still either Clay or Max.
Okay,
that's going to be your 2.
Okay, so that means Cooper's playing the 3. With Morez Johnson, the best thing the Mavs ever did going to do for him is what they did at hiring Dusty May. Because that means that Dusty May can continue his development of working with Morez Johnson's shot.
Uh-huh.
That's a positive thing right there. The negative thing is that he's just young.
I
That's
think
it.
the one thing that the Mavs have that this is good for Morez is that they still right now technically have PJ Washington. He doesn't
Yes.
have to start.
No, he
They
doesn't
can
have to
they can
bring him on slowly.
develop him, but
Mhm.
again, I still think a trade's happened.
I think either PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford. I think one of those bigs, one of those is gonna go. One of those guys won't be there on the team.
I don't know. There's a lot of speculation, but one thing you have to monitor is Derek Lively. Do you trade Daniel Gafford? If you trade Daniel Gafford and you don't know the full status of Derek Lively, that might not work out well for you.
Yeah, but if you trade Derek Lively, what you gonna get for him?
I I don't think the Mavs are trying to trade Derek Lively because he's still on his rookie contract.
So that's going back to what you said. They can just bring on Morez Johnson slow. They can just develop him, even though there's two different positions. But you can bring him
I,
on slow.
me personally, I am not ready for Morez to play the five in the NBA,
No, but you also
especially in
got
the Western Conference when you have Victor Wembanyama, you have Isaiah Hartenstein, you got Rudy Gobert, you got Sengun out in Houston, you just got Walker Kessler in LA. I'm not ready for that. Not yet.
yeah. He played some five in Michigan, and it worked out to his favor sometimes. He didn't do a lot of it, but he was more physical. That's one thing you guys gonna love. He is physical. He's a big boy. He
I
ain't gonna
from
be
what I've
slow.
seen so far, I thoroughly like, and I saw what Michigan did against Arizona in the Final Four. I was at the game, and one thing I never because I thought Arizona was a big team.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona had Mo Crevis, they had Cub Pete. I mean, they were not small, but Michigan made them look small.
Yes, yes. But again, like I said, like he got good feet. He's gonna hustle. He's gonna play. He's gonna play hard for Dusty because that was his college coach. He's gonna play hard for
I
Dusty.
mean,
And
hey, there's a I look you when you have three Michigan prospects and Moraz goes first, and Dusty happened to have just coached all three of them. I don't know what he told Masai and Mike Schmitz, but whatever he told them, there's a reason he wanted him over the other two.
well. Hold on now, because I don't know. When I seen his reaction that Adar May went to OKC,
Yeah, he was happy for him.
he was happy for
He
him.
was happy for him. But I'm telling you, when Dusty was getting recruited in a sense, when he was going through the hiring process with the Mavs, I guarantee you, he told Masai and Mike something that there's a reason we need Mike Smith, or that there's a reason we need Morez Johnson.
Morez Johnson.
Yeah, there's a reason he picked him over the other two. That was not by accident.
Yeah.
That is too coincidental.
Yeah. I will say this though. Lindenberg, because he's an older player and because he's already developed, there's no kind of reason the Mavs wouldn't need him, especially if him and Cooper play the same position. Nah. I would have loved to see Adara May with the Dallas Mavericks, to be honest with you, because Dusty was developing him. Dusty, I'm afraid that Dusty was developing both guys. Is that with Adara May, he gave him that confidence to go and take these 3-point shots. He gave him the confidence to expand his offensive game. Now, Morez Johnson is the same thing, but Rez is physical. I'm telling you, you guys gonna love him. You guys gonna love him.
Listen. I love a physical guy in the NBA. I wholeheartedly believe whatever the heck Dusty told Mike and told Masai. He said something. He probably said positive things about all three, but there was something about Rez that stuck out to him for this Mavs basketball team. And listen, who knows what it is? We can speculate. It could be, how hard Rez works. It could be something as small as that. Maybe he works harder than Yaxel and Dada. Maybe he does. I don't know. I have
Or
no clue.
Or that Red's got a higher upside than both guys.
That could be too. I don't know. I
Mhm.
don't know what it is. But what I do know is that the Mavericks don't draft him if Dusty made the head coach. The Mavericks were probably going to draft Braden Burris if Dusty May hadn't been the head coach.
Now, wait, did he go to the next pick to the Milwaukee Bucks?
He went 10 to Milwaukee. Yep.
Man, that would have solved your two-guard position right there.
I like Braden Burris. Talked to him in
me too.
Indianapolis. Good player and I think a strong upside. I think if Braden Burris lives up to his highest ceiling, I could see him being a Devin Booker type player.
Yeah. LeBron James made the news. He told the Lakers that he's not coming back to the Lakers.
He's not?
He is not. And I had talked this earlier with Jamie before he got off. Luka Doncic. The Lakers finally get to be around Luka Doncic now.
You know what's funny is that since we haven't been together for a show, I have not gotten to express how I felt about Luka Doncic going to the Los Angeles Lakers and what I believe was a robbery. But I digress.
You got the platform? Oh, come on. You got the platform. Go ahead.
Listen, I don't know what happened with that, but I'll just put it like this. People have called me a conspiracy theorist, and that's fine. I could care less what people say about me. You know that. But I will just say I don't believe the story that they said happened. I have no clue what happened. I'll be honest. But I don't believe that I don't believe Nico was working alone. There was I don't believe that Patrick Dumont knows a lot about basketball. I think he is the type of owner who is a deflector, which in a way that's kind of what we've always wanted from Jerry Jones as fans in Dallas. Just sign the checks, let the other people run the team. And that seems to be Patrick Dumont's, MO. But I just don't believe that you spend the last 4 years building a team around Luka Doncic, a perfect team around Luka Doncic. You go to the NBA Finals in 2024. You lose to the Boston Celtics. And then in the offseason, you replace Tim Hardaway Jr. with Klay Thompson. You replace Derrick Jones Jr. with Najee Marshall. And you get Quentin Grimes to come with you. Guys that are 3-and-D guys and a shooter. That's perfect around Luka. And then, I don't know, 30, 40 games into the season, or 30 games into the season, Luka gets hurt on Christmas Day. And then a month and change later, you blow it up in the middle of the night on a Saturday night. Most fans were either just finding out late at night. Some fans didn't find out till the early morning the next day. Again, I don't know what happened, but Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd come out the next day. They give this very weak, kind of more like a statement. And you get heckled and, fire Nico was everywhere in Dallas, not just at the American Airlines Center. You could go to your neighborhood Chili's and hear a fire Nico, right? And I don't believe that Nico would just throw away his entire career unless there's some incentive to that. I don't know what that incentive is. I know he was a Nike executive for nearly 20 years. I know he was Kobe Bryant's boy. I know he was friends with really good friends with Rob Pelinka of the Lakers, and he just happened to go there because they met over coffee in Dallas. That story just stinks to high heavens. I don't buy it. I can't tell you what the alternative is. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know. But Nico Harrison will never be a GM in the NBA ever again. But I don't think he cares. And you know why I don't think he cares? Because I think he got paid off. I don't know how he got paid off. I can't prove it. I will openly admit, full disclosure, PSA, this is a thought. This is an opinion. I don't even know what the thought or the opinion is. I just don't believe the story that they claim happened. I don't buy it.
Hey Taimon, what type of hat I got on my hand?
See an NBA hat.
And what's the logo right here?
Jerry West,
And what's underneath there right here?
NBA.
And who's the commissioner of the NBA?
Adam Silver.
And that's all we need to know. We know who did this trade.
Listen, I'm not going to say who did or didn't do what, but I will just stick by this statement. I don't believe the story that we were told.
You shouldn't believe the story you were told. If the league just wanted Luka Doncic in LA, just come out here. We want Luka in LA. Can we just say that Adam Silver and the NBA kind of pulled a David Stern when he ran the NBA? I mean, wasn't that one time where Chris Paul got traded to the Lakers? He's like, that's not happening.
Again, I'll just say this. I don't know what happened. I can't. I don't know what happened. I don't. I look. Every situation is different. When the Chris Paul trade happened, the Hornets, New Orleans Hornets, they didn't have an owner, and the NBA had the legal right to do it, to own the Hornets. I don't think it was morally right. I think that's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
This trade for Luka, it was just weird. Rob Pelinka, Nico. I think Nico Harrison's stupid, but I don't think he's that stupid.
Agree. If I have, in my personal opinion, this was an NBA trade.
I'll say this.
I
don't know what happened. I really don't.
But
I'll say it again. I don't believe the story that was told. I'll never believe it. I'll never believe it.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I promise you I'm not. But I love some good conspiracy and I have good theories.
As you should.
And how is it the Dallas Mavericks traded a once-in-a-lifetime generation talent, who, and by the way, who had a good game this morning in Europe basketball? They should have won. Somehow trading him, then come back around and got one of the first pick of the NBA draft. Now look.
Wait. With a 1.7% chance.
Yes. With a 1.7% chance of winning the NBA draft, the Dallas Mavericks won the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. They just added on to this conspiracy theories, huh?
Like I said, I don't think that trade happened by accident.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, did that car get frozen in the refrigerator, in the freezer somewhere? I mean, was that predetermined? I just want to know. Because we sitting here in a world where the LA Clippers cheated and there's no ruling coming down, but yeah, Kawhi Leonard got traded to the Raptors. I don't know, man. I mean, you might be onto something here. Allegedly, we don't know what happened, but hey, maybe one day they might do a 30 for 30 and we might find out what happened. Or maybe that's something that the Mavericks and the NBA gonna take it to their graves one day. We ain't never gonna know. But hey, Luka's in LA. Dallas got Cooper Flag.
I'll say this. I'll get to what you originally said because you asked me about LeBron. I don't think this is a surprise at all. I think everyone saw this coming a mile away. But I do think Laker fans, and I've spoken to a lot of Laker fans on this, are the most spoiled brats I think I have ever seen.
So I too spoke to some Laker fans. And I actually trolled them and got in their community and to see how their reaction there, how they was feeling. They were happy that LeBron James was going. They're happy because they got rid of LeBron James fans. But overall, they are happy that LeBron James is
you know, it's funny. They don't like LeBron fans, but isn't that the pot calling the kettle black?
Yes.
Because they're just as annoying.
I have to
listen.
admit.
You know what? I saw a report or I don't know if he's a radio host, podcast, or I don't know. But I saw him say that LeBron was never a Laker. He just wore a Lakers uniform. And I thought to myself this. Number one, Laker fans, by and large, I'm not saying everyone, but by and large, never welcomed LeBron James. They never did. They never gave LeBron James a chance. And when he got there in the latter half of the Kobe years and when Kobe retired, the Lakers were awful. They were horrible, terrible, disgusting to watch. LeBron James gets there. They're a 4 seed in the Western Conference. And LeBron got hurt. They end up with a good record. Then the next year happens. He brings his boy AD, comes to the Lakers. They're rolling. And then COVID happens, right? And unfortunately, when COVID happened, unfortunately, Kobe Bryant passed away very tragically. And when Kobe passed away, the Lakers and the city of Los Angeles was going through a horrible time that you wouldn't wish on anybody. And LeBron James took that team, took that city, took that franchise, and won a championship. Now, it's funny because I want to go back a little bit. Laker fans didn't embrace LeBron. Why? Because they kept comparing him to Kobe. They're like, oh, you're never going to be better than Kobe. Kobe Bryant said, welcome to the family. They were doing the exact thing. Laker fans were doing the exact thing Kobe didn't want them to do. He said, we need to win. They will fall in line. No, because when he did win, they kept comparing him to you, even though he passed away, and they didn't even thank him for it. They're just like, yeah, he won a championship. He's supposed to do that. Laker fans are the spoiled rich kid who, if their parents left them $5 million, they'd be mad that they didn't get 10. It's literally. Listen, I'm not saying LeBron is perfect. And if you thought it was time to move on for the sake of the franchise, to get younger and to build for your future, I understand that. What I don't like is the trashing of this man. They're like, well, his contract was holding up our future. Kobe Bryant did the same thing, and I didn't ever hear a problem with that. But it was different. It was Kobe. Why? Y'all were horrible. Y'all were horrible longer than y'all needed to be because y'all offered Kobe a dang near max contract when he wasn't playing max anymore. And y'all did that to thank him. Now, the Lakers did something nice for LeBron. They drafted his son. That was a very nice thing to do because they didn't have to do that. But that was a very nice thing to do. With that, and sure, I can understand why that might annoy some Laker fans. I get it. I'm not saying that LeBron is perfect or didn't have his faults. What I am saying is that he played there 8 years. He won you a championship. He brought you into relevancy. He kept the scoring title that was held by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, now held by LeBron James. He kept that in Los Angeles. And lastly, the most recent playoff series, the only reason that the Lakers won against the Rockets to advance to the second round against Thunder was because of LeBron James. Again, I'm not saying you have to say this man is perfect. I know he has his flaws, but show a little appreciation. It wasn't perfect when Shaq left, and Laker fans love Shaq. We just saw in Milwaukee. It wasn't perfect with Giannis leaving, but Milwaukee still loves Giannis. You need to show this man a little respect because be careful what you wish for, Laker fans. Just be careful what you wish for.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, and James Worthy, and the rest of the Lakers welcomed Shaquille O'Neal to the family when Shaquille O'Neal signed with the Los Angeles Lakers back in the mid-90s. Shaq brought them 3 championships, along with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was drafted by the Lakers. I get it. He's one of theirs. But people forget, Kobe Bryant was not drafted by the Lakers. He was traded to the Lakers. Paul Gasol gets more respect than LeBron James. And I like Paul Gasol. Paul Gasol's a great player in his own right.
I'll go a step further. Derek Fisher gets more respect than LeBron James.
You want to take a step further?
From Laker fans. And listen, I'm not trying to take away anything what Gasol did or what Fisher did. They all did their contributions. But if you take, look at LeBron is still loved in Cleveland, right? LeBron, things didn't end well in Miami. But if you ask a Heat fan, they're like, I like them 2 championships though. And those 4 years of going to the finals were fun. Look, the Lakers were horrible. LeBron decided on his own to go to LA. They didn't recruit him. He wanted to go there. He goes there, brings them to relevancy. That was everything LeBron did perfect? No. The Westbrook trade was terrible. But, he kept you guys afloat. You were in the Western Conference Finals 3 years ago. You lost to Denver. You were in the Western Conference Finals 3 years ago. You know how many teams would be happy to go to a finals, a Western Conference Finals? You've got to be kidding me. To go to a finals and a Western Conference Final in a 3-year period, you know how many people would be happy to do that? And I understand Laker fans will say, oh, well, we got high standards. There's a difference between high standards and just being a spoiled brat. Show the man a little appreciation. I'm not saying you have to love the guy. I'm not saying that. And quit comparing him to Kobe. I had a Laker fan tell me today that there was no reason for him to change his number to 6. He's just trying to get his both his numbers retired like Kobe did. You don't know that. He changed his number to 6 while he was in Miami. I mean, number one, who cares? And number two, LeBron James has been a great Laker. It's not like you signed LeBron when he was 25. You dang near signed him when he was 35. He's been playing the latter half of his career and still keeping you relevant. No offense, and may he rest his soul, Kobe Bryant. But he wasn't doing that when he was that age.
Yeah, we all know why. Listen, I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. I believe Kobe Bryant is the third best player in NBA history. Kobe Bryant, everyone got short memory. Not want to play with those young players that he's playing with towards the end of his career. He want to compete. And what did the Lakers told him? Like they told Shaq, like they told Magic. So
the thing is, the Lakers appeased Kobe in his later years.
They gave him that big contract.
And they couldn't do anything.
Thank you for everything you've done for us. Is $99 million.
And listen, I understand why the Lakers did it. And listen, I understand the Lakers fans' frustration. But be frustrated at the right people. Be frustrated at Rob Pelinka. Be frustrated at Jeannie Buss. Rob Pelinka, the only reason why he still has a job is because Nico Harrison gave him a job. That's the only reason why he's still employed.
Pulled off the biggest heist in NBA history. It bought him a brand new contract extension. I'm just saying. And how many times? The problem that I have with Lakers fans, other than everything you just said, is that to them, winning the NBA championship, it just won. It's like it don't mean anything. It's like it just won. I'm like, yeah, you won one. I bet you Charlotte Hornets would like to have one championship. I bet you San Antonio Spurs would like to win another championship. I bet you the Cleveland Cavaliers, who LeBron James won a championship for, would like to win another championship. It just won. We expect
I understand the notion of having a lot of championships. Championships last forever. They do. And I say that, I mean, look at me, I'm a Cowboys fan, right? We haven't won in 30 years, but guess what? I can still say we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of teams want 1. A lot of teams want 2, 3, 4. Better yet, 5, right? So championships last forever. I get it. What I don't like is when the Lakers are awful. And for example, the Knicks win a championship and the Knicks fans are going crazy and happy. They're like, it was your first championship in 53 years. Good for you. So, what are we doing here? Yeah, it's the first time. Wouldn't you be happy too?
The Knicks are partying like they ain't gonna see this again for another 53 years.
And listen, I will say this. I am in Frisco, Texas right now. I am looking down at the Star. I'm going to be down there in a bit. But it's like, if the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, you ain't going to see me for a while.
If the Cowboys win the Super Bowl in your lifetime, I know you're gonna call me every day, AD. Did you see that?
You might not hear from me maybe for the first week. Because I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't even know if I'm going to hear from me.
You on that same when I'm on, if the Lions ever win the Super Bowl, you might actually might want to call me. Make sure I'm still alive here.
May do a wellness check. Hey, vice versa.
AD, you alive? Barely.
I'm here. But guess what? I'll be like, we got 6.
I'll be like, hey, I finally understand what the Knicks fans are talking about.
I get it. I get it.
So, what do you think about the Jaylen Brown trade?
I think it was a bad trade. I think that Jaylen Brown is really kind of being underappreciated. And I think a lot of this is going into analytics, is what I've been hearing. And I like analytics, but I don't like it for everything. I think it can be a very beneficial tool, but I still think you got to play the game on the court. And I think Jaylen Brown's a phenomenal basketball player. You traded him for Paul George, an older player. Now I like the picks. The picks aren't bad, but Paul George is on the latter half of his career, had some injuries, played well last season at times, but I would never trade a player to a team who just beat me in the playoffs. For the sure pettiness of it, that would piss me off.
Do you think that the Boston Celtics are too heavy on the analytics? Because when you hear that, they didn't say this, but when you hear, Bobby Marks, when he said a GM told him that, according to the numbers, Jaylen Brown's not a top 6 player, not a top 10 player in the NBA, according to the numbers. Do you think that's too heavy on the analytics and not enough on the ice?
It's hard for me to say because I haven't seen them. I can look at it 2 ways. It could be that. It could be. Or it could be they realized that they weren't going to get what they initially asked for and had to take the best offer they were going to get.
So you traded to Philly.
That might have been the best offer they got. Because at that point, everybody knew Jaylen needed to be traded. You didn't have any leverage anymore. You're gonna trade him for somebody. Your original goal was to trade him for Giannis. You failed at that. Why would Jaylen want to come play for you anymore? So now you don't have you lost your leverage.
That is true. And
so you took the best offer you could get.
Yeah, I know Brad Stevenson said a part of that trade with the Miami Heat was that he did not want to separate or trade his young players. He wanted to trade Hugo Gonzalez. He didn't want to trade Sherman, so that's why they didn't trade for Giannis. Do you think down the road? Well, right now we know that Boston Celtics fans are pretty pissed off and they're not happy with the trade. Do you think it's going to be another move down the road
on Boston's side?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Hey, maybe they might trade for Zion Williamson. Let's go ahead and go 2 for 2.
Yep. No.
All right, we're gonna finish up this show on one last question, and it's about your beloved Dallas Cowboys. Training camp is coming up. It's right around the corner. So I want to know what you're looking forward to, what you expect to see. You
So
want
you
to start
asked me
there?
two. You asked me two questions. What am I looking forward to, and what do I expect to see?
Because
What
I know
I'm
you
looking
want to ask all of it.
what I'm looking forward to is seeing this defensive transformation under the new defensive coordinator, Christian Parker from the Eagles. I'm thoroughly excited about this. Number one, it's kind of like sticking it back to your rival, Christian Parker, who was under Vic Fangio in Philadelphia, who did a good job there. A lot of people have a lot of confidence um, um, in Christian Parker, and this defense is not the same defense from even a year ago. Listen, Micah's gone, Osa's gone. You. This is who the Cowboys have. Like initially, and I know this isn't directly, but the Micah Parsons trade was literally Micah Parsons for Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, Malachi Lawrence, Rashawn Gary. Um, you base it, and you still have a first round pick next year. You base it that. I don't think it's a bad trade. I think it was a trade that hurt them in the short term. Yes. But to get Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary, Malachi Lawrence, Caleb Downs, because I know that wasn't directly, but the Cowboys wouldn't, as bad as their defense would have been last year, it wouldn't have been as bad if Micah had been on that team. So that made them have a worse record. So, and they have a first round pick next year. I don't think it was a bad trade. Again, it hurt them initially because you took Micah Parsons away from what your defense needed a week before the season started. But if you look at the Cowboys' future, it looks pretty good.
So that's telling me you expecting big things for the Cowboys this coming season.
What I'm expecting from the Cowboys is their offense is going to be fire like it was last season, considering, especially if their defense is healthy. Excuse me, as long as they're healthy. If they're healthy, their offense will be phenomenal. They were number 2 in the league last year. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. Their offensive line is young, but only getting better each year. The wall of Tylers, as I like to call them, or the Great Wall of Tyler. They are getting better and their offenses and their defense. They were ranked 31st in the league last year. You can't get any worse, right? So I guess you can go to 32nd, but I just listed all the changes that they just made. I think it's pretty obvious that they're going to be better. I think they'll be great. I do think they'll be really good at stopping the run. I think they'll be okay with the pass. I think Caleb Downs will help down a lot with that in that secondary. But you have Rashawn Gary, Malachi Lawrence, Kenny Clark, and Quinnen Williams on that line. I think you'll be really good at stopping the run. I do. But the pass, it's not perfect yet. If the Marvion Overshone is healthy, that'll be very helpful. And then in your secondary, it's led by Caleb Downs and God, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank because I'm tired. If they do that, if they I think their if the Cowboys have a top 3 offense and let's say their defense finishes anywhere between 14th and 18th, middle of the pack, Cowboys are going to be a problem. Because they lost games last year. They went 7-10. And the 7 wins came from their offense. The 10 losses came from their defense. If they can get 7 wins with that defense being led by the offense, imagine if they have a top 3 offense and build back defense. They're going to win 11, 12, 13 games if that happens. Makes for a fun season. Maybe even a postseason.
Yeah. Look,
I think Brian Schottenheimer did a phenomenal job.
Hey, I'm all in for a good Cowboy and Eagles battle. I'm not a fan of either team, but both fan bases do make me laugh when they fight each other on social media. But on the field, it's going to be very interesting. Because like you said, the NFC East, nobody repeats.
Technically, Philly did finally, but yes.
Yeah, but nobody repeats. And we already know who the top 2 teams in the NFC East. So we already know it's going to be a battle between the Eagles and the Cowboys. So I'm looking forward to it. If the Cowboys do win the Super Bowl, Taimon, I will do a wellness checkup on you. I will be happy for you. And
Thank you. Yeah, I will be very, very happy. I mean, your Lions played an NFC Championship game just 2 years ago. I would like that.
hey, you like that? I'm on fab things that you got. Your team has.
Yeah, I would just like to see them in the NFC Championship as I can drive a car.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know you tired of hearing me, a lot of old heads telling stories about the
I'm
glory days.
becoming the old head.
I know about the glory days of the Dallas Cowboys when they was battling the Niners and the Packers back in the '90s, going to the Super Bowl. I ain't gonna lie, those are some of the best football been played. But I want to thank you for coming on, man. I know you're tired, you will rest, you got a busy day tomorrow. I will be paying attention to the Big 12 Media Day. Hopefully, we can get you asking some questions while you're there.
Yeah, check us out. Big 12 today from 7 to 10 a.m. Central Time. Our interviews will be live beginning on Wednesday because the interviews that we're doing will be pre-recorded tomorrow.
Okay.
But watch us live, 7 to 10 a.m. Central. You can catch us live on TuneIn Radio, or you can stream us on Big 12 Studios, on Amazon Prime, on Tubi, on YouTube, or wherever, Roku. Whatever fast channel streaming service you have, just search Big 12 Studios or Big 12 Today, and you will find us. It's hosted by Ari Timken and James Westling. I'm their producer. I'm running around. You'll see me having fun. So,
All right. And ladies, I want y'all to always remember, Tame is the only one who come on this show, get a free pass, and just do a show anytime he wants. He's the only one, anytime he wants. I'm just letting y'all know that right now. So when he does come on, when that day comes, just sit back and enjoy like I will do. And hopefully down the road, I can get myself, Taimon, and the original triplet, Mike DuPont, on here so we can talk about some sports. So hopefully I can make that happen.
let's have fun.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Double Dribble Podcast with D.L. Swart. Taimon, thank you for joining me today, man. And everybody, have a blessed Monday. Be safe. Enjoy your family. We're out. Peace.